Come a little bit closer, you're my guy. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Earth 2 OMI update video. Let me get the. You guys are a little cloudy there, or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the whatever. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. So I just wanted to go over today. I had just coming back from a party, doing like an Ask Me Anything here. I come back from the party and. I just did a really weird video. I was like, you know what? At the end of the video, let me go live. Let me go to the bathroom, let me reset, and let me go live. It was just about how, yes, I'll be here to talk about OMI's future. I'll be here to talk about all of those licensing and those brands that they've gotten. And hey, what's up, Nick Fingar? How's it going? And the licensing that they have for these brands is just insane. That they just announced stuff that we had never heard before. Yes, we knew that. Hey, what's up, King Charles? How's it going? We knew that they were doing a. Let me. Oh yeah, I just sorry, my phone was a little messed up. So we know that they were doing Jurassic Park, but now they have Jurassic Park, Jurassic like the Lost World. They have like a bunch of different Jurassic Parks now. They have so many other different types of DCs that we were thinking, hey, RealT, how's it going? Yeah, the grind never stops, never stops. The party was great, RealT. I mentioned you a lot, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't know who that is. I was like, oh, you don't understand. Yeah, hey, what's up, Preston Ty Anderson? Yeah, so I was telling everybody at the party, look at this stuff with Vivi. I was like, look at this stuff with this guy who was so smart. He like took an Atari apart, like when he was like 8 years old. He's like, yeah, I did this with it. I was like, whoa, that's insane. And he's like, yeah, I was explaining to him Earth 2, and he's like, that sounds insane. Because he was talking about how it was a Nintendo Boy. It was like a Pip-Boy. Like they were talking about virtual reality in like 1995, and they had a couple of games on. They had a Wario game on there. They had another game on there. It's, the creators of Punch Out, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, were making games on there. I was like, for virtual reality, I was like, yeah, 1995, they were thinking about it. I was like, that's insane. And I told him exactly what Earth 2 was, and we talked the whole ride home about it. And he's like, this sounds absolutely bananas. I was like, yeah, go check it out. Go. And there's a bunch of these other people that were there as well. That we're just talking about virtual reality. We're talking about the fact that what if we are all as people, again, I've said this before, what if we're all ones and zeros? What if we're all these different types of game avatars that is Earth, and then the alien gamers are playing us, and why the population grows every year, every decade is because the game becomes more popular. And as the game becomes more popular, that accounts for for it to grow. And it's really cool the way it does that. Takes a long time for technology to go from Stone Age to there, but we did it. And we make the same games now too. Civilization 1, 2, through 6. It's insane what we can do. And now I was telling a lot of these people about these NFTs that we have in the Viviverse, and they're like, what is, like, this is really cool. Because they were talking about stuff that's like, a couple $100, like back in the day, old X-Men stuff. You press this on Wolverine, the claws come out. All those things are really cool. And people like us, and we're all, there was only a couple people there in their 20s. The rest of them were like in the 30s. So we're getting a little older now, but we're all remembering, we're still like nerds at heart, that we all love the old school collectibles. We love the old school action figures, and being able to get that now in virtual reality in NFT space is just insane, because they look always so good, and you could put them in augmented reality. I was showing them the breakfast cereal mascots in augmented reality. They're like, no way. I was like, yeah, it's just like Pokemon Go. This is what you can do with it right now. And this is still like in the early stages. Again, Earth 2, when I was telling everyone about, like, this is just stage 1, it's not even out yet, and they're all like, yeah, I'm in. All it's like, yeah, this is great. This is a great party. Again, we're all a little buzzed. Again, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds right now that's what I'm all about. What's up, Dennis? How's everything going? A random person. Yeah. So it's Ask Me Anything with it, and I keep telling them. I told all these guys, like, listen, I will financially, if you guys want to put it. And I told them straight up. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I told them, like, yo, guys, buy OMI right now. Buy OMI, buy Bitcoin, buy all these things. Get into Earth 2. Because these guys are my friends. Like, these guys are people that they're such good people. Never want to hurt. The guy who was there was celebrating his 41st birthday party. He's a brother of mine. He's not like, he's a brother. Like, if I ever get married, Danielle, if you're watching this, hi. Danielle's at a wedding right now. But if I ever get married, like he's going to be one of my best men on there. He has to be because I owe most of my success to him. And he took care of me when I got out of the military. He's like, yeah, we'll take you on because this person, and at the end of the day, hopefully we call you family. And I love him and his whole family and everyone there. But I was telling him, like, listen, like now it's my turn to take care of you guys. Get in OMI, get into Bitcoin, follow this thing on Earth too. Like you could not do it, and it's fine if you don't get in. But I keep telling him, I was like, this is going to change your lives, like for the better. Like I don't know how many years it will take. Maybe it might not even take years. If you just want to get in now and whatever, 5x, 10x your money, probably do that by the end of the year. Easily 10x your money by the end of the year. We were in no shape to do any trading right there, although we had talked about it. When you get to that level, and you guys will see it, you guys don't think so. When you have, oh yeah, I put like a couple $100 into OMI, that will turn into a couple thousand or 10 or 20,000 really quick. Because again, just to 10x from here to go to, let's say if you put $500 in there or even $100 in there. Okay, well, later this year, now you have $1,000. Okay, if you want to take the original 100 out and then leave $900 in there, okay, cool. And then it'll go to, let's say it goes to 1,100, and then take the original 100 out, you have 1,000. Okay, well, now what are you going to do? If I was talking to my friends like it was at the party, yeah, just let that ride. Just let that ride. Like that will pay for all your kids' schools and secondary schools if they want to go be like a doctor and like a wedding and like a divorce and another wedding if they need. But they'll be covered because a lot of these people that I were talking to, they got money already, so they would put in 10 grand like it's nothing. Like yeah, I'll put in 5-10 grand to that. But I guarantee you guys, it will get easier to make more money as if I am going and saying this to my other friends. Like I would say this to my girlfriend right now if I had my 15-year-old self, 18-year-old self. Like, listen, this is what you're gonna do, and this is not financial advice, but that's what I would do. Jason Max saying, I keep telling my besties about OMI and Earth 2. They always roll their eyes so hard, so hard it hurts my own head. I stop talking about it. I'm just riding my own energy wave. Yeah, you'll wind up pulling your hair out trying to convince certain people to do things, but it's which again, like when the student is ready, the master will appear. You'll be there. You'll be there for someone, and it could be just someone. I didn't when I was in the military, like. Yeah, we would speculate about certain things like, oh yeah, but for the most part for us, the logical step would be to get out of the military and go back in a contracting job, whether it's Corvallis, whether it's Steincorp, Blackwater, whatever, Blackwater Federal contracts, and you just go in and you're just making six figures, just doing what you were doing in the military, but now you're making six figures. And for the most part, for the military, that's their chance. That's what's considered financial success. Getting out, going contracting, going civilian. Where's my Korea says, do Warner Brothers or Harry Potter, meaning the Harry Potter nets, own well, Warner Brothers, it's WB. That's the one that put out the movies anyway. So it's Warner Brothers. I don't know if VV has Warner Brothers. If they do, if they do, I think they own the Looney Tunes then, right? Because in that Space Jam movie, the original one with Michael Jordan, and Warner Brothers Inc., and then he kisses his own butt. Daffy Duck was insane. I love that so much. But yeah, so Warner Brothers should own that. Nets, sorry. The New Jersey Nets? Harry Potter Nets? I'm not sure what you mean when it says WB. Do WB Nets Harry Potter? Like, do they own Harry Potter? I think just WB. Yeah, they should own at least the movie rights. J.K. Rowling obviously owns the IP and maybe anything that you wanted to make as far as NFTs that go through her. But also NFTs, like if we're looking for more NFTs of cars, they have Fast and Furious for VV. So Fast and Furious, even if you just like collectibles, this is so cool. And this is the future. This is to my knowledge, because again, I'm a nerd. This is the only stuff like this so far. Yeah, NBA Top Shots has kind of the chads. They have the finance people, they have people that are speculating on sports cards. But to be honest, a lot of what sports cards is speculation. oh, I got Zion, I got these people, and they don't know what that career holds for them. Yeah, if they, but again, those collections are just people are minting the fudge out of them. Where there's like 10,000 of those PSA 10, like 10,000 of those copies, like that is so much. And in Pokemon, you just don't see that, and because you just don't. And it's not that it's not as popular. Pokemon's probably more popular. Like I guarantee you, more people know who the most recent Pokemon card is, or Pokemon is the most recent starter. I guarantee you, people know who the most recent starter is, as opposed to a starter for the Indiana Pacers right now, or even a lot of people on the Olympic teams. I don't know if they do dream teams anymore. It's probably all the same now. But to my knowledge, this is the only nerd thing that are being made as NFTs. I know Atari is trying to make one, but this is it right here. We're gonna go global at one point, and we're the first. That's it. Like the series first editions, if you're a collector, this is it. The series 1, the season 1 for VV Collectibles, season 2 for VV Collectibles. If you have anything with those, you're good. And for people, those OMI holders, even if you're not a collector, if you just want to make money, there's going to be so much money pouring into this. And Earth 2 as well. Again, I don't want things to just be about money. It's cool. It's fun. As we're seeing the world evolve, we're seeing it. I was showing other kids today, like I was like, oh, these are NFTs and this is what they can do. And I showed it to my friend, or I guess my friend's daughter, I'm friends with as well. The other day, her boyfriend, who I was also kind of friends with when I was living there, I was like, yeah, these NFTs that we're looking at right now, you can do this and this with them. And it's just cool to see the way the world is going. And yeah, it's a little sad because it's not like it was. Like we're never going to have those times back again. In the 90s, playing GoldenEye or playing like Super Smash Brothers on N64, well, whatever. That's just, maybe the world is not enough. The James Bond game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's bad. It's just okay. That can never happen the same way again. But we're seeing now, and we're able to be a part of it, because a lot of it when I was younger, a lot of our parents didn't get like the video games. Like they had like Pong when they were younger, and that's all the video games they got. They never really grew up with this. They never evolved with this, and this is something that was like, oh, maybe a kid would be nice. Maybe it would, because then I could play video games with them. But then I know if I would have a kid, they would be just this super Chad, like ultra. Yeah, I'm just gonna be into. You'll be too cool for video games, too cool for nerd stuff. It's like, oh man, that's rough. But yeah, it's cool to see the way the world is changing. I don't know if I have any other comments. How much OMI do you think they will leave behind for Immutable X transfer? 10 billion. Well, they had said previously, we don't need 50 years worth of OMI. Okay, well, what is 50 years worth of OMI? So if we break it down, and what do they mean? I don't think they would say, we don't need 50 years worth of OMI. We only need 48 years or 45 years worth of OMI. They would say that, and they would not only take off a couple of years. They would take off, I think, minimum 10 years. We don't need 50 years worth of OMI. Maybe 40 years or 30, whatever. So if they take off 10 years, let's say we don't need 40 years, 50 years worth of OMI, we only need 40 years worth. Okay, so that you have to take off 20%. So what is 20% of VV's share of OMI? VV, they started with 340 million. So 20% of that would be, say, about 68 billion. I'm sorry, yeah, so 68 billion. If they leave that on the table, and they don't transfer 68 billion, and this way they have to, let's say, buy back, let's say half of that, 24 billion back to the VV app, and they buy it from the float. Now the float goes from 168 billion down to 140. Was it 34? Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, 24. So from 168 billion down to 144 billion, you're getting past that. You're getting below that 150 billion mark in the float. That is a huge psychological threshold for some people. You're going to see things double and triple very, very easily. And that's not due to advertising. That's just due to the amount of availability that's out there, when they do the buybacks. Nick Finger says, you can never enter the same river twice, Randy. Yeah. Oh, man, that's at least not in the same spot, not in the same time. That's what That's what I love about life. And I feel like this is just going to be getting more towards me just talking about life type of thing. At the end of the day, I think all anyone wants to do is just have a couple drinks, listen to like the rain, listen to good music, and just hang out with friends. And that's what I was doing this whole night. It was great. It was beautiful. And I love talking to you guys. I love talking to people that are like-minded like me, that are just about the future. And yeah, if it's to make money, sure, that's great. We're all here to do that. But I also love the experience. I love the game. I love going into something. It's like uh, my favorite parts of each game are not when, let's say in Pokemon, they're not when I beat the Elite Four. It's when I'm grinding. It's when I am first getting I catch a new Pokemon and I say, okay, how quickly does it grow? What moves can it learn? How, can I fight other Pokemon like this? And going through, getting badges, evolving them. That's my favorite time. My favorite time is in the beginning. And that's what we're seeing right now. I love other people that are doing that as well. And that's a great part with Earth 2 with OMI, with a bunch of these things. Earth 2, you're gonna be able to play it however you want. You can play it how, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna buy as much land as I can, get all these resources, and God, who only knows? Again, it's just speculation at this point. I think that's the title of the video. Being able to go on and say, oh, now I want to have my avatar gain experience, so I'm gonna go into the warring world, and just do that forever. I'm gonna live there. As soon as it comes out, I'm gonna live there. But even Shane said on his most recent tweet, he said that they're still aiming for the first half of the year, which I did not think would happen at all, and it still might not happen, for phase 2 being the first half of this year. But he's aiming, he's trying. If he doesn't, again, I'm not expecting him to get it. I wasn't expecting him to come out within the next couple of months, but he said on a tweet, yeah, it's possible we have phase 2 this month in June. At least the beginnings of phase 2 anyway, which if that's what they're doing, I'm super excited about it. That's something that we're never gonna, again, what Nick Fingar said, you can't enter the same river twice. There's only going to be one opening of phase 2. There's only going to be one time when it opens, and that time's gonna be amazing. And I hope everyone's here to, it'll be fine. Like, oh well, we're the haters now, but I hope that the haters can come on and experience it with us, because I feel bad for people that don't experience the good stuff with us. Wes 499 super chat saying, crazy how many people are sleeping on OMI. Going to be a lot of salty people in a year when they look back. Yeah, the salt is going to be real. There's going to be a lot of. I feel bad for them also. But that's why I also think, like, back in the day when I was like this super conspiracy theorist, and I was like, no, you need to pay attention to this. Watch this documentary. Watch this, like, loose change. Like, because I thought people needed to know truth about, or what I thought was the truth about whatever. And now it's more along the lines of, I just want people to have fun. I just wish people good lives. And that's also part of the reason for the channel as well. I wanted to just entertain people, because when I started the channel, there was just on Pokemon sales data, and it was just talking about things that nobody else was talking about, or at least not as much. And I would go and say, like, there was this thing called E4, and it still exists. I still go on it. E4 had this thing called price and market discussion, and at the end of every PWCC auction block, I'm like, did you see what Caterpie went for? Caterpie went for $100 first edition PSA 10. That's insane. And then the last one sold for this much, and I was clogging up so much of their space. Like I was saying, for Blaine's first edition PSA 10, I got this for this much, and now it's this much. And nobody was talking about that. Nobody had a channel specifically talking about sales data. So I grind, and I got a decent following with that. And then the way I was talking about Tesla, saying like, yeah, people are talking about how they're expanding, but they're only talking about the cars. They're not talking about the potential full self-driving revenue. They're not talking about the insurance, the artificial intelligence of insurance and full self-driving, and their solar. Nobody else was talking. There was a couple people that were talking about other things, but they were just talking about their sales data, just their car. They were talking about the specs of the car, which is fine. That the specs are great. They're the safest cars in the world. But I just want people to experience good things. I want people to have a good time, because I also feel like if you take people with that are mean, let's say take the haters. Okay, well, most successful people aren't trying to hate on other successful people. No, it's mostly people that are really unhappy with themselves. that are trying to take down other people. Okay, so why are they unhappy with themselves? Either a myriad, maybe it's because they're out of shape and they want to be better, or they had a bunch of people be mean to them back in middle school or high school, whatever, and that's just now that they have a little bit of power, a little bit of a say, they try to bully others. Okay, well, maybe if we just show those people a little bit of love, like that one guy, Dan, I forget what's his name, and this was before any of the most recent E2 hate. This was back in December of 2020, January 2021, early this year, where I was just starting coming out with Earth 2 content like on the daily. And he was saying, okay, well, this guy's like a neck beard. This guy's like living in his like grandma's basement or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm living in my friend Mark's basement. Yeah, so that's kind of true. But I went to him and I said like, hey, you're wearing a Tony Stark shirt, and you're living in Florida. Me and my girlfriend are going there next year. Let us take you out to dinner. Let me buy you dinner, you and your girlfriend, and let us talk. I think you'd feel differently about me, when you got and like we're friends now. So I haven't. Again, if haters welcome, like come on and then like ask me anything, because like I'm not trying to scam people out of anything. I just want people to be as excited about things as I am. I want to share things with them. And I just want people to love each other. Like that's partly what I started talking about with Earth 2. Like imagine a place. Now obviously there's going to be trolls. There's going to be the warring world and whatever. But a place where let's just say people that like kids don't know hate yet. So you take a couple of kids that are let's say from Palestine and from Jerusalem, and have them meet here in virtual reality because they can't meet in wherever they are, because those two sides are always combating, or even North Korea doesn't have. I feel so bad for North Korea, but people of anywhere. Let's say if the two countries are warring, but kids can go and meet in virtual reality, and kids can meet on. It's just the next step. Kids are always meeting in AOL chat rooms, like, yeah, my country's doing this, my country's doing that, but you seem cool because you like the same music. You seem cool because you like the same video games, or whatever. This is just the next step of that, and I would hope that maybe some ambassadors come from this. Like, it's like, hey, we're actually brokering peace deal. Like, not that some people play World of Warcraft, like American military, play with like Russian military. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are cool. Play Dota. Play. I feel like if people that are, countries that are at war with each other, but they find like, some happy medium in there. I think maybe if other people see that, if other people were to see some of us saying like, hey, these soldiers, these people are able to hang out, like why can't our politicians do that? And I would hope that would change some things. So moving on, I know I got a couple of comments here. Grillmaster420 says, I still have a ton of hope, but we need something new to play with. There's lots of good stuff coming. Yeah. So you're looking at about, again, Shane tweeted possibly getting phase 2 this month, which would be insane. Jaime said, Randy, do you own any Vive NFT? Do you think posting their NFTs and showing off gets boring? I mean, after a couple weeks, lost its luster, glorified JPEGs. A little bit, yeah. I mean, for my own creativity, what I would do with them, yeah, I would find there's only so many poses that you can do, again, from my mind. But that's the beauty of it. If anyone remembers Justice League, where Batman like gets captured and by another universe Batman, and he's like, oh, I bet you thought of everything that could ever be thought of, haven't you? And the Batman's like, no, just everything you'll ever think of. And that meant so much to me, because okay, well, he can only think of what you'll ever think of because you share the same mind, but he can't think of what the Flash would do. He can't think of what Wonder Woman would do. There is no limit to again what you can do. But even if you say, okay, that's it, I'm maxed out, I have no other positions. And I saw someone have a cat girl, or not cat girl, bat girl, with the selfie thing, but in augmented reality on a rock. So it looks like she's doing a handstand on a rock. Like, that is so cool. So no, like to me, it doesn't get old, because I still see people's art everywhere. Just go on Twitter and search for, hashtag VV Collectibles, and look at all the cool things that people are doing with them in augmented reality in their VV universe. It's really cool already, and it's just the beginning. This is just we're baby stage Pokemon. We are fossils. Like, when I say fossils, We are a dome fossil or helix fossil. We haven't been brought back to life yet. We're still baby Pokemon in Earth 2 and in VV. Nick Finger says, I got locked out of my VV account with the update yesterday. They're being slow, helping me out. It's frustrating. I actually got locked out too. Yeah, that'll take 24 to 48 hours. They should do help out though. Sonox says, do you speak any other language? I speak a small amount of Spanish and even less Russian. But enough Spanish where I can go to another country and be okay. Russian, no. I know like some greetings and there, and then I know how to flirt a little bit in Russian. And I mean that. I don't mean like I'm not one of those people like, oh yeah, I know the curse words. Oh, no, I know how to flirt a little bit in Russian because I used to dance, and I also used to be doorman for a strip club as well, and you pick up a couple things. Yeah, so Salem Ula says, what do you think about the Earth 2 scam videos on YouTube? So I did mention this before. I'll mention this again. Like, I think they're just people, and again, this is my purest form right here. I think they're just people wanting to make a living. And, when they want to make a living, they talk about things that have traction, like Earth 2. Somebody made an Earth 2 video. They're all making an Earth 2 video. They're having some fights with Aria Realty, and I don't know, like, I wouldn't, again, I know they're not, because I speak with Aria Realty on the daily. We talk every day, but I guarantee you, if he were to say, hey man, this whole thing with me and Upper Echelon Gaming and me and Big Fry, it's all just been a play. We're all getting more views. It's being great. I would be like, oh man, that's great. I knew you were doing that, but he's not. Like it's not this whole plan with them. It's an actual fight. But Aria Realty's baiting him. But I don't wish. Thank you guys for 10 likes. I don't know what Upper Echelon or Big Fry, what they're trying to get. I don't know if they really think it's a scam or if they're just doing this for the money. Because if they think it's a scam, like, no, like, have them come on the channel. Like, I want to have them come. If they're available online right now, go get them and bring them on and have them ask me anything. Because I had a bunch of people even say for me, like, hey, you're scam people out of their money. You're going to get yours. And calling the FBI. It's like, listen, you're just going to waste the FBI's time. Like, they have a lot of important real world actual stuff to do. Calling anyone and wasting their time on this is, I feel bad, because that's wasting other people's time. And God forbid, let's say people like the SEC or somebody gets this case, falls in the FBI's lap, they look into it, and then they suddenly associate these people that are crying. They're basically Karens, video game Karens. These guys are having too much fun. God forbid the people at the SEC, FBI, they associate those Karens with the rest of us gamers, and they think, oh, these gamers are all out of control. No, that's the only part I feel bad about. Like, I don't want to be associated with people like that. Like, if people are having fun, let them have fun. Like, let them and again, with everything, this is not financial advice, not financial advice. I have that in every single video ever. And I would but again, I tell people exactly what I'm doing and what I think, what I would tell, like, my friend Dean or my friend. There's a lot of D's in my life. Got Dan, got Dean, got Lou. Haven't heard from him in a while. I'll give him a call. But I would want to talk to all these people that are making these scam content. I'd be like, no, just I'm a real dude. Like, I just want people to have fun. I want people to go and be happy. And part of the reason for the channel being made was to get people excited about stuff. And why I kept the channel going when I was so, like, sick, it was because people kept looking out for my content. They liked the way I did things. Back when it was just Pokemon and Tesla stuff, and then moving on to Earth 2 and OMI, they like it. And I got featured on Taps Trades, who follows me. He's like, hey, yeah, there's a bunch of these other OMI channels out there that talk about Ecomi and the VV collectibles, and he mentioned the Real Ren Chow. I was like, ah! So to get featured on one of his channels, it's great. So I do think in the future, there'll be a couple of us that outshine the rest. And as far as Earth 2 video goes, me, Aria Realty, you got Guidebook Gaming, Nameless and Tech Ops, but we're one of the only ones that make, like, actual YouTube videos. You do have Earth 2 Mastery, I haven't seen in a while. You do have Earth 2 Odyssey, and I haven't seen, again, just tag me in all things. The Bowl Combo, I I want to see more people make content, but I also want to see us that were here first. I want to see us continue, and to never stop, because it pains me. Like back in the day with YouTube, I used to know or not. Yeah, like a lot of these people, like Mika Kitty from YouTube. She's Tessa Violet now. Like she's always Tessa Violet, but um, she was Mika Kitty at first. Like Lisa Nova, who I still have on Facebook. Lisa Nova was one of the first bigger YouTubers. Same thing with Justine. She was on there. Like, I hope we all never stop making content. I hope we all, because it's sad to go back to, like Lisa Nova's birthday was recently, and it's like, oh wow, you remember when her and just like everyone else, and nobody's making content anymore, from back in the old YouTube days, and it hurts. It makes me very nostalgic. It makes me very like, I hope everyone's happy. I hope they're happy doing what they're doing, but I miss that. I don't like change that way. Like if people are making content, like, oh man, I wish they were still making it. I don't like things to change in that way. The same way, like when people would go to deploy, or when people would even not even deploy, because when you deploy, you come back mostly, mostly. Um, Permanent change of station, like, oh hey, I got your friend, they're no longer being serving with you at, let's say, this Air Force base. Then they go to another Air Force base. Okay, well, I'm gonna miss you. I miss hanging out with you. And then you go see them, and they come see you. And oh man, I miss my friends. I'm gonna get on to the next one. Where do I get the tank top? I honestly, I don't even know. I got this at like Dragon Con, one of the cons, whatever. Oh, J Kill XRP, what's going on with the OMI Ghost OMI, the OMI rings? George 17 says, I'm trying to come up with things that will destroy OMI and I can't find any. It's crazy good company, but too good to be true. But yeah, we got very, very lucky. And part of the things that I would think about that could be bad for companies, and why I don't get into sport, while I'll never get into sports collecting, never get into sports cards, is because it's too speculative. Why I collect Pokemon cards. Again, I'll bring it out real quick. Let's just say Pinsir. Pinsir is never going to go on trial for killing someone. Pinsir is never going to go on trial because he played a part in like a human trafficking thing. Like you take, like Snorlax. We all love that big boy, but he's not going to die of a heart attack. Like Vaporeon's not going to be accused of taking steroids. Like there's things that insulate you in the Pokemon, in collectibles in general, and with a lot of these NFTs that are made, they are from shows like that. They have Hasbro, so they have Transformers, they have Optimus Prime, they have My Little Pony. So even if, let's say, God forbid, and I don't think this is true, or it's definitely not, this crazy bizarre world scenario where, let's say, some of the people that ran Akomi, let's say in an alternate universe that they had done something and got them in legal trouble. That doesn't affect the NFTs. That doesn't affect the property that they have. They just did something that maybe wasn't right legal practice. Maybe that could affect OMI, but I don't think so. That would more affect the company, but again, it's not publicly traded. It's not a publicly traded company. It's privately owned. Maybe at some point it might, kind of like Decentraland Mana, that's publicly traded. But yeah, with sports people, like a lot of, especially football players, they get in trouble for a lot of things, and they could break a bone, they could do something that ends their career, and you just don't get that with these collectibles. So that's why I'm very very bullish on just the collectibles. Not even OMI in general, but the collectibles as well. Investivus for the rest of us says, when did you first hear about E2 and buy in? It was in early to mid-December of 2020. I got into Earth 2. Ari Realty is his first video in a long time. He was just a finance channel. He was just talking about, his first couple videos were talking about how to take out credit cards and how to build your credit. How to make money with credit cards. And they were good. They were fun. But then his first video in like 8 months of the Earth 2, like, what is this? And it was just so cool. It was just so, I got that, like, I'm in early, like I'm in something that's, and then I didn't know it at the time because nobody was in it yet. Nobody was making videos. I made a video. Oh, and I think actually Snoke brought this up from My Name is Human podcast, where one of my first Earth 2 videos was me saying like, what is Earth 2? And I go along and I scroll on, I'm at the office on the computer on my phone looking like, oh, and you can buy certain tiles in New York. And it's like, right? Like, and I expected all of them to be bought up, but they weren't bought up yet. So I bought pieces of Central Park. This is all in like my first couple of videos. It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy some of these tiles right now. And they were like $3 a tile. You know, in America, we could think of that time. Yeah, it was like $2-3 a tile when I was first buying these. And I would show people what I had in Brazil and India. I would have all these giant things because I would buy them for 10, 11 cents. I was like, guys, this is insane that you can buy all this virtual land for so cheap, and now everything's so expensive. You can't do it the way it was. I mean, you could maybe make the argument that, you know, when a new country opens up, but countries were opened up for weeks, and it was the wild, wild west. We were having a ball. Oh God, we were having a party because we were buying India and Brazil for 10 and 11 cents a tile. I was buying giant swaths of land for it was great. And if I had only known what it would have grown into, I was just spending a couple hundred, maybe a couple $1,000s on it. But at the time, I was paying off that trophy Kangaskhan, and I couldn't. And I just got addicted, and I knew it was something special because I was checking it. I was just going over my property, just going over something that, and one of my most recent videos, I talked about this in South Korea, why it's so big, because it's yours. It's something that is yours. They can't take it away, and there's something beautiful about that. There's something that's like you can do whatever you want on this, and other people from all over the world can come and look at it. And it's not like you're in, you know, your own private server on, you know, Minecraft or whatever, and the only way people can see it is if you make a YouTube video about it. No, like people can see exactly what you're gonna do, and it was addicting. I was like, listen, guys, like I was talking to my gamer friends, like you can't even do anything yet. The game is fun. I was talking to my investor guys, like, yeah, this is super addicting. There's a finite amount of tiles, and it only goes up. It's so cool. I love talking about it. Preston Ty Anderson says, honorable mentions to all the countries that pay more for one tile in US dollar. US Canadians pay 25% more, but all is good. We will make it back and more when we collect. I am very E2 bullish. Same here. I'm again, the way that South Koreans are doing it right now, they see the future. And I told you guys in videos from months ago where South Korea tiles were maybe $5, and now they're what, 14, something like that, or 20. I don't know. They're number 2 though. U.S. is number 1 tile, and South Korea is number 2. And this game isn't even translated into other languages yet. But it is really fun to go back and reference the older videos where I just had a paper and I'm reading off the paper. Oh, speaking of which, 30-minute Patreon member shout out. I don't know how long I'm doing the stream for. I'll do it all night if you guys want. And the rain will kill us all, throw ourselves against the wall. No one else can see the preservation of the mortar and me. Psychosocial. Oh, I love Slipknot. Yeah, it's fun back in the day, and I was just taking some stuff and I was reading it, and I was like, okay, so imagine if this happens in this area, and imagine what could happen if we had Pokemon. Like that's what I was doing in my first few in my first E2 videos, because back in the day I would have Pokemon sales data, and the same thing, I would, instead of being off eBay, I would write everything down, and I'd be like, all right, so this one sold for this, and it's just really fun to go back and do that. King Julian says, you have a pony. Anyone looking for an E2 clan? King. So I did promise. I did promise the Lone Wolves, if they're here. Lone Wolves Discord chat. They are so chill. They are so relaxed. Like, let's say you know the E2 general chat is just like a mayhem. It's just everyone's all in there at once, and there's so many people talking about like different things. Like Ziggurat City has amazing things going for it. South Korea, like Predict's channel, there a bunch of Discord servers have main themes. They're working towards something, and Lone Wolf chat is just like, hey, what's going on? What'd you have for lunch? We're doing trivia tonight. Like, it's just a fun time where you're just relaxing and hanging out. Like, that's where you go to take a break. So yeah, Lone Wolves, got a shout out to them. And actually, one of my guys in the Meow Gang, yeah, E2 Lone Wolf, and He's in the Meow Gang. Meow Gangs can they can request songs. You guys can ask me anything though. Request any song you want. Cynox says you have 9.5 million OMI. I only have 3.2 million OMI. I would have so much more if I wasn't starting a surf company right now. Should I sell up shop? So, I literally closed up. I was thinking about going back to work just so I could have more to put into OMI, because even when I sell that trophy Kangaskhan, when I put $100,000, 125 grand into OMI, what I might do differently is I might not go to. Well, I was originally going to put 100 grand into Bitcoin, 100 grand into OMI. I might do 75 grand into Bitcoin, 125 grand into OMI, because of how bullish I am on this project. And the safer side of me really wants me to put most of it in Bitcoin. But let's say my friend, let's say Matt, came up to me and said like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about opening this. And let's say if I ran it and I said, you know what, based on your business model and what your projections, again, that's what I did in my first business was high risk lending and risk and data analysis. So like, yeah, maybe you turn profit the first year, which is like impossible to do. I did it twice. They forgot that Peruvians could do stuff like that. But they had. I would still say, listen, you're only making like 30% on your, and again, that's still really good. I would tell them, if you have whatever shop they're doing, whether it's video games, whether it's Harry Potter, if what you're doing is, if you're having fun and it makes you happy, by all means do it. But if you're just doing it for money, no. Put everything you have into Bitcoin, OMI, Ethereum. Like, I would tell my friend, like, listen, I will cover you. If this does not work out, like if this does not work out and you like, I'll give it back to you. Obviously, I can't make that recommendation for everyone here, but I would tell my friends that are just starting business, hey, wait, don't do it. I would tell my friends, don't buy a house right now. Put it on. I told my girlfriend, listen, do not buy a house right now. Move into the house in Poconos and put what you would put, like let's say 120 grand down as a down payment somewhere. Put that into Bitcoin. She doesn't really understand OMI right now, but it's like put it into Bitcoin and then buy that house, cash that you were looking to buy in the next couple of years if you want. No this down payment, no, you just own it, because that's what Bitcoin's going to do. So I'm very, very bullish on the future and on where these are going to go. So again, this is not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I've literally told my girlfriend, do not buy a house, because we're looking to buy a place in West Palm Beach in Florida. And I was like, listen, if you have the option, don't do that, and just put it all into Bitcoin. And hope and she's, for the most part, she's doing that. So you're one of the OGs. Guess they never forgot. Yeah, they forgot about the real. But I had such a fun video the other night where I was just saying, I just listed all these different things, like they forgot the real Randy Chavez, like, and I just listed all. It was just one big like pat on the back to myself, one big like toot my old horn. But it was a lot of fun, saying like, they forgot that I was very successful in the high risk lending, Pokemon agency. They like in the military, like you can't stress me out. And like, gun to my head, like okay, I don't care. I will still work. Like you can't stress me out. You can't intimidate me into trying to do anything that's wrong or immoral or like, no. Like, I will always be there to stand up for what's right. I'll always be there to like, if anyone's trying to do the right thing, I'll always be there to stand up for them. And again, what I do all for animals. And why, when I go to Madagascar and I buy all this land, for wilderness, if I can't find people to do security, okay, I'll do it myself. Like, I don't care. I'll like, anyone wants to come try to poach, fucking bring it. Like, I will shoot back. Like, you know how many guns I have here? Like, no, I will shoot back. Like, I will defend. Definitely. It's really weird coming from me saying like, yeah, you want to love people, and you do, but there are people that are just evil, and it's like, okay, well, you need to shoot back. But getting back to the point that I was at, I was saying like, yeah, the military can't stress me out, can't intimidate me. They forgot that this is what I do. Like, this is what and I was just going through all my accomplishments from Pokemon or from Tesla, saying like that I'm the most successful Peruvian to ever come out of Arequipa and immigrate to the United States. Yeah, and it was just really, it was one big old pat on the back for myself. Ukulele String says, "Hi Randy, any info with base tile that they plan to open?" Not yet. I still think Austria is probably something that they have a good. That'll probably be because in Austria, that's where a lot of the videos have been. The landscapes have been in Austria, so I would like to think they would follow that. And if they do follow that, most likely base in class phase 2, when we're able to do resources, whatever, it'll probably be in Austria. That's just my opinion, though. Reaching a little bit there. Evo Hong says, "It definitely is addicting, challenging it for better tiles than others." Yeah, that too. I think in the warring world, we're going to be able to put our tiles up for, like, in a gambling purpose. Like, if anyone remembers, in Pokemon, they did this, the first 2 generations. You had gambling in it. There was slot machines. There was, for chance. And even in Neopets, you would bet how many, how much money you could bet. And you would bet a certain amount on, whatever games you were playing. I think we'll have something similar, and even in the Fire Emblem games, they had that as well. How much do you want to bet that you're going to win this next bout? And if your guy loses, you can't use them the rest of the time. So I think we'll have something like that in Earth 2 as well. If you have a tile, okay, wager this tile if you're so confident, and the winners could be. But I also think when that first happens, that'll happen for a little while, and it'll be great. People sell a lot of tickets. They'll be like, "Oh, they're going for this many tiles," and then in the future, when corporations take over and they say like, "Oh, remember back in the day? Oh, if you have tiles now, okay, you're a rich gazillionaire." But back in the day, people were gambling away tiles. No way, no way did people used to do that. Yeah, we used to back in the day when it first started, Phase 2 first came out. No corporation were in this. We were gambling tiles left and right. Like, no way. Yeah, I could just picture that happening in years from now, and people coming to us that like, "Oh, you're the yeah," and so I promised Wraithax I would touch base on these. Is that Earth 2 trading cards? The only NFTs right now, specifically from Earth 2, is the Easter eggs, and they have, although they gave their nod, they gave their consent for the Earth 2 trading cards. So the fact that you have the real Randy Chavez trading cards, Earth 2 Meta, Ari Realty, Nameless, King Tech Ops, Predict, I think Joker trading cards as well. Those are because they're the first NFTs that were actually made. They were made before the Earth 2 Easter egg hunt. So whoever tries to dictate history, no, the E2 trading cards were made before the Easter egg hunt. They were the first NFTs. And they weren't made by E2, but they do properly bear that E2 symbol because Shane and all the developers gave them their consent for it. And I love that. And they only wanted the ones of Shane. They wanted the produces or the proceeds of that going to charity. And for the most part, my channel, everything for me will go to charity as well. But I guarantee you, watch these NFTs. They are, as this game gets developed, if it does what I think it's going to do, those first NFTs are going to be worth a lot of money, especially the lower ones, the lower serial number ones. But not only that, oh man, I forget where I was going with that. Yeah, the lower serial numbers, that'll be worth a lot. But Wax in general, that's where I was going with that. It's on Wax, and Wax in general, I think I am very bullish on as well. So I'll mention this to Wraithax at the 48-minute mark, the 46-minute mark. Try to go to that. How I Made says DCA dollar cost average over 8.1 million OMI now. Wow, when should we stop? Well, I mean, in my opinion, how I Made, you'll definitely be a millionaire, because if I see this, let's say you have 8.1 million right now. I think this goes to 10 cents by the end of the year. Even if it goes, all right, 10 cents, that's $800,000. But even if it goes to 5 cents and you have 8 million, that's $400,000. That I don't know your financial situation, but for some people, that's life-changing money. That's like, I could buy a house and I could pay for my kids' college, and that's it. Maybe that's all you need to retire. Let's say maybe you're 50 years old and you're thinking retiring at like 60. How can I do this for 12 more years? Maybe want to retire early, and this is something that helps you retire early. What I love about Earth 2 is that we're going to be able to get more family time. We're going to be able to get more, because one, that's things families going to want to do together, but also because let's say you're a kid in let's say like Argentina or Venezuela, someplace where there's not a lot of work opportunities. But let's say, oh, hey, you have this account and you're really good at this. I'll hire you. I want these people to find work. I want to hire them to make different designs, to make different things. And then as they do that, I'll pay them. And if they can make enough doing that, they could bring home more food. They could bring home, let's say, or if people are just making so much money that they say, hey, mom, you don't have to work anymore. You can come. I just this is a really good thing I think for families. I didn't have that when I was younger. I didn't have like the parents were a little older. They didn't really like believe in video games or whatever. But if I ever had kids, this is God. My friends' kids are fine. I play video games with them. That's good. That's all I really. That's really all I could ask for. But that's and I would even tell like my friend Lauren. So my friend Mark, the guy that I would live with, like his daughter Lauren, I would tell like, listen, I could be anywhere in the world right now. Vegas, but for the most part, I love being with you. I love hanging out with you because playing video games, because that's what it reminded me of as a kid. Like it took me back to when just you and your friends and they're playing video games all night. Like that's what it was about. And people are nostalgic in general. So if some people are nostalgic for maybe the college days, some people are nostalgic for what made them feel like as a kid. And the guy that was just driving me home, this guy Paul, we were just talking for all day about like Earth 2, about old school Nintendo games, and we were talking about speed runs of Super Mario and all that. To answer your question, how I made whenever you want. I mean, I think only goes to $1, by 2026, and it could even do it well before that. I have to actually rechange my price prediction strategy for when they change over to Immutable X and they go to the Ethereum blockchain. They leave a bunch of OMI behind. It's going to be a lot of OMI. That's going to be a lot of OMI left behind. I have to rechange everything. Grillmaster420 says, yeah, I think guys in Guidebook Gaming are going to have given away thousands. Yeah, like, could you imagine going back? But they do that also because they're just they're good people. Also, they got in really early and they're good people. And I do giveaways as well, but not as much as them. But they have enough tiles to give away class 1 tiles until December of this year. And if they ever stop, if they ever say like, hey guys, can't give it, I'll take their place. I'll go in and say, okay, now every stream. And actually, right now, who do we have right here? Grillmaster420. Yeah, you just want a free tile. So message me afterwards, and then I'll give you I'll give you a link for a free tile in Chaveztopia. Just bid a penny on it. So link me. So that's the type of things that I want to do. I want to, and that's why I really became a little bit more obsessed with money as well, because I didn't have it when I was younger. And I want to be able to do things like that. Like I don't want to have this so I can buy like a Porsche. I want it so like when I see a mom at the grocery store, like it's like, hey honey, put that back. Like the fuck you are? No, you're not putting that back. This is all on me, girl. And like I remember this one time where I saw this girl at a Radio Shack. I was getting a phone or a part for a phone, whatever I was getting. Again, I'm Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds right now. And then I see her, as she was working at Radio. I see her like an hour and a half later at a Denny's me and my friends were at, and I was like, did she walk here? And I was like, yeah, I have 2 jobs, and she lived right in Levittown. And I was like, hey, listen, like, and back in the day, there was Payless was right around there. I was like, well, listen, just you walked all this way, and her shoes were like falling apart. Like, listen, take $100, go buy yourself a nice pair of shoes. And she was like crying, like she was like you would have thought I gave her gold. Like, it's just sneakers. It's okay. But yeah, that's what I like to do for people. I like to go and be, well, also when I'm on, that's why I'm also a big advocate for Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, because it just makes it makes you love one another. It just makes you think, all right, well, how can I help these people? How can I help the world? How can I help the universe? That's what I love about it. Like I said, they're gonna have a huge empire. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what happens to them as well. Christopher says, How about that repeated racism from Aria Realty? I don't think he has a racist bone in his body. When I first met Aria Realty, actually, he was one of my first friends at McGuire Air Force Base, where I'd come in with another group of people, but first time at the dining facility, it's like, oh man, I feel like in high school, getting off anywhere to sit. Him and this one guy, Abram, was like, hey, like, can I sit here? And like, yeah, all right, that's cool. And he happened to be services, so he was actually on break, so he was doing a lot of the cooking stuff, and yeah, we had actually worked together several times. We actually deployed to the same place, not at the same time though, so we never got to have that deployment fun together. But enough being around each other, saw each other naked and stuff. Military goes through different things, but yeah, our realty's he's such a cool dude. I trust him with everything. I trust, like, we're going into business together next year, and I can't wait for that. Moving on, Grillmaster LOL. OMI, homie, Mike Jack says OMI is on fire with the licenses, only the beginning. Dude, I love all the licenses that they've had, that they just announced. Like, we knew that Jurassic World was coming out. Like, we knew they had Jurassic Park, but now they have Jurassic Park, The Lost World, like Jurassic World. Like, they have so many of them, so many different facets of Star Trek. I knew they had Star Trek. They have Next Generation, they have Pickard, they have another one. It's like, oh my god, this is so cool. And their licenses for everything else, so many things with DC. And Taps Trades is actually going on about Green Lantern. He's like, well, the most notable Green Lantern is actually Hal Jordan. And I was like, well, actually, sir, John Stewart is best Green Lantern, so write that one down. Because for those of us that grew up with Justice League, John Stewart was the one that we knew. Yeah, you knew of Hal Jordan because he was like the main Green Lantern, but John Stewart was the Green Lantern that a lot of us grew up with. And that's, when I think of Green Lantern, I automatically think of John Stewart. I think that, he was black, he was in the army, he was in the army, as opposed to Hal Jordan that was in the Air Force. Like, it was cool. Or was John Stewart a Marine? I forget what he was. But yeah, that's who I think of. I think of John Stewart, Green Lantern. I don't think of Hal Jordan. I mean, Hal Jordan comes second, but definitely John Stewart first. Grillmaster420 says, I'd love to make ways for people who have no money at all to get tiles and able to have at least one tile. I think community will always be generous. Yeah, and that's what I love about it as well. And I only have 20,000 tiles, so what as I go farther and make more money. Like I said, when Earth 2 makes me $1 million, or when I'll do a 5-figure giveaway. Actually, when I become a millionaire, I'll probably do a 5-figure giveaway anyway. But that'll probably be just towards like Best Friends Animal Society. I'll be just towards Animal Welfare Institute, or Pit for Souls, a local rescue group. Somewhere around there. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. But yeah, the community is always so generous, and that's what I feel like. If a lot of these people that call Earth to a scam, if they come in and just watch our live streams and just see how great and beautiful we are to each other, and just that we want the overall success of the company, but it's not really about the money. I want it because I want to see other people succeed. Like, if you were to say to me right now, like, hey, take away $1,000 from you, but now 100 other people get $1,000. Yeah, sure, do that all day. Like, I'll do that all day because that's fair trade, and that's why I love giving to charity so much. But yeah, I'd really wish the people that call Earth 2 a scam like kind of came on and got to see us, who we really are. Hamid said, do you think it's a good idea to sell some OMI as a tax write-off and buy back ASAP for capital loss up to 3K? For me, no. I mean, if you want to try to get cute and play that game, you obviously can. Definitely talk to your accountant though, because I have it on businesses. I have it on my business balance sheets. I haven't filed normal taxes in a while, just because as soon as I got out of the military, I opened up a business, and then another one, and then so I haven't. But for me, I just buy and hold. So that's it. Christopher says, why has he been banned for repeated racism and just tweeted a racist meme? So I don't think our realty's been banned for anything. But if he retweets, anything he does it's for the lols, it's for fun. Like, he himself is not racist. It's like when they were trying to get like Ice Cube back in the day, saying like, oh, well, you called him a Jew, and he's like, well, yeah, this guy, like, because this guy tried to wrong me, and I'm gonna make fun of him for whatever that he is. Yeah, he's a Jew, but yeah, he's also fat. He's also balding. This guy, and they tried to paint him as like this anti-Semite, this like racist guy, and he wasn't. He's just like, no, like I come from a place where if someone comes at me, I'm gonna hate on them for exactly what they are. If they're Jew, they're Gypsy, whatever it is. Our realty definitely not racist, and if he shares something that could be construed as racist, it's probably just because it's funny. But him himself, I don't see him really posting anything like that. Um, if it does, it's probably just like again because it's funny, and most likely everyone that like that tweet is about like that, it's probably funny to them too. Um, and sexual harassment class. All right, our realty is definitely not anything. Was like again, I'm in many different groups with him. No, never any question about his sexual harassment at all. Like he's never had any of that. Moving on. Omi Homie says, "Do you think they will stream their presentation for Comic Con? Would be pretty cool." Yeah, yeah. I think in yeah, because they're doing it in San Diego. San Diego Comic Con's all virtual. But I don't know if they're gonna have a space at New York Comic Con. If they do, I'll go. I'm gonna probably go to New York Comic Con anyway. I mean, no reason not to. But as far as San Diego Comic Con, yeah, that's gonna be a big draw for them, and especially me going like I got to tell other people about Vivi and all these NFTs, all the different ways that people are putting them in augmented reality. Once that gets to San Diego Comic Con, again, I know it's digital this year; it's all virtual. But there's a lot of people, a lot of nerds like us paying attention to that. A lot of people are going to get in. So I really hope that they have at that time they drop, because they've teased Jurassic Park forever now. They've teased, CBS forever now. So I really want them to get Jurassic Park in there. Hasbro, My Little Pony and Transformers are going to be big ones. And kind of Star Trek, same thing, that'll be huge. Fast and Furious they have as well, which that I think that movie drops in the next couple of weeks. So I hope they have an NFT that coincides with the drop of the movie, which would be really cool for them to do Jurassic World, for them to do any of these. If they do, I don't know if they do a reboot of Adventure Time or like a reunion of Adventure Time. If they have Cartoon Network, then it's possible that they have like Ed, Edd and Eddy. It's possible that they have Regular Show. Regular Show is so good. You have another way to get Luke Skywalker in there. He was the voice of Skips. Mark Hamill was. Kuzar says upper echelon going to drop hammer and post proof this won't age well. So yeah, upper echelon and our realty have been feuding for a long time. But again, have people come on the channel. Just have us. I just want to love people, man. I just want to listen to good music, have a good time. Like this whole night was so amazing because it was just going on with my friend Danny. This guy had a heated pool, and country music, which I wasn't feeling too much, but they had Avicii going on. I was like, oh, all right, we can get some Avicii on there, and I think that's what you want to do at the end of the day. I think you all just want to go and listen to good music and relax, and just talk to people and have a good time. Kudos for supporting racism when it's funny. No, obviously, definitely against racism all the time, but also at the end of the day, some things are just funny. Like if there's a meme that say like, let's say there's someone that parked a car on their lawn, and then it's like, I wonder who lives here, and then the next frame is like, oh, it's me. It's like, okay, that's funny, because that's the type of things that we do once in a while, or if it's like a thing like when you see. Again, just because they have some stereotypes and it doesn't mean it's like racist, but it's like when you see let's say like a white person saying gracias, to like a like in there in a Mexican restaurant, they say gracias like and they look like that. It's like, okay, yeah, white people do that. Or oh, I forgot my hour. All right, so it is an hour. So we'll go with Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. All right, so that's my hour-long member shout out. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that some things are funny because but all of that I think is in good humor, and good taste. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was made to see as you couldn't really say nowadays, whether it was old Family Guy episodes or even some old Friends episodes probably wouldn't be able to air nowadays because it's too, like against woke culture or what have you. Um, but or even some of the stuff like, God, what was that? Mel Brooks. A lot of Mel Brooks stuff. So racist. But again, that at the time, and it was funny. And back in the day, you didn't really hear people complaining about it because that was just the way of the world. That Blazing Saddles, that's what it was. That was just the way of the world. And but even now, like when you have stuff like Joe Rogan or Rosie O'Donnell, like some really like crazy out there people trying to, and some people say, like, oh, we should cancel them. Well, no, like they're trying to be funny, and in order to be funny, you have to risk offending people. In order to speak, you have to risk offending people, and that's what I love about this country. That's what I fought for, is to have that First Amendment right. And I feel like comedians get some bad raps, like, and I support comedians 100% because they're the ones that are kind of fighting against like this woke culture, saying like, oh no, it's racist or it's this is against whatever. Carlos Mencia back in the day or Eddie Murphy, like they would go on about everyone, like it didn't matter. It was black, white, purple. It did you didn't care because it was funny and comedy should make you feel different. It should make you feel it should make you feel different and it should leave you different than when it first found you. It should make you think like, oh, okay, well, I didn't think about it this way. Like that's why like Jon Stewart, not the Green Lantern Jon Stewart, but Jon Stewart from like the Colbert Report and Jon Stewart the Daily Show. That's why they were so good, is because they got you to see how ridiculous some of these politicians were and like how ridiculous we're here at life, and they're just making fun of them. And I love that. I love comedy, and yeah, some things are just like, there are some meme pages that I'm like associated with that they're so bad, and we're going to hell for like for laughing at them. But some stuff that's funny. Oh, Investivus for the rest of us says, if you say that someone's Jewish just because they are, isn't that a little racist? In good fun. Well, I mean, yeah. So I was talking to my friend Tyler the other day, and we hadn't seen each other in a while. I was like, oh, like we can just meet somewhere in between us. We can go somewhere like a Fridays, or like if you want to be bougie, we can go to like Teller's, restaurant. And he's just like, it's like, listen, man, like I might be like making good money now, but I'm still Jewish. We'll go here. I was like, okay, and those type of things are fun. They're funny, and again, if they're funny, they're funny. Like if you have like, you say, if you make a meme says like photoshopping my face on like someone working at Taco Bell, like, oh, the real Randy Chavez, all he does is just typical beaner. He folds tacos. Like, okay, that's funny. Like what your brown kids think they're really doing, what they're actually doing, just folding tacos. It's like, okay, all right, I get that. That's funny. Note on Chris Topper says, what about an Asian named Wenfei 2? Hilarious, right? Oh, all right, I gotcha. Wenfei's 2. Yeah, so I'm one of the more easygoing what's that called? Easygoing like YouTubers as far as Earth 2 is concerned. Guidebook Gaming has been like on Earth 2's ass. Like hey, when is Phase 2? Can we get a timeline, please? And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, it's not that serious. But they're a little more aggressive about it. I think just because they just want to know a timeline. They don't care if it's this year. They don't care if it's next year. They just want an actual timeline to work with. So I understand that. For me, it's just like, I'm more go with the flow. I'm retired now. It's like, okay, I don't need, whatever. If you decide to do it this year, great. Not next year, okay, whatever. I'm here for the long haul. I don't care, months, years. That doesn't matter to me. I also have the advantage that I'm still relatively young at 30 years old. I'm not 40 years old. Like, all right, come on, guys, I'm not getting any younger here. I have that option to just be relaxed about it. So I do have to think about that. Growth Master 420 says, wow, I think Chris is trying to get his keyboard warrior status bandwagon badge. Yeah, so I again, just know that you can't offend me. Like, it's impossible. You can't offend me. You can't intimidate me. There's like, again, like someone like comes in right now, guns a blazing. I'm going out swinging. Like, all right, I'm not gonna make it easy. they will feel it. They will feel it. Um, but same thing as far as just um, trying to like make fun of it. Like it's again, Ari Realty, same thing. You can't hurt him. Like that's not something that you're not gonna hurt his feelings. Like military beats that out of you. You're not gonna be compromised in any sort of way that way. Um, yeah. Oh well. But that's also what I love about different people's approaches to things. Like our realty is like kind of responding to other people, getting in the fray, out of the fire, out of fire and frying pan or whatever have you. And he's making a lot of different views. He's getting a lot of his view just goes up, and he's making a lot of money now because of it. Whether he needs to or not, he doesn't really need to. He's kind of semi-retired. He's not exactly the real Randy Chavez status yet, but he's close. He might have gotten that Tesla a little prematurely, but he locked in that full self-driving when it was like $4,000. It's like, oh my god, I locked in my full self-driving at $7,000 for both my Cybertrucks that I'm gonna get. But again, right now, like I got them specifically so that it wasn't to be bougie. It was because I know that full self-driving is coming, and I know that I'm gonna be able to send this out, and it's gonna make me money. Everything all comes back to money for me. Not always though. Like again, a lot of days I like to sit out and like on people's balconies and just talk to your neighbors. Like if you have like a day or so, or if you have a day off, talk to your neighbors. Like go out and have a beer with them. Like go like that's part of the things that I really enjoyed about quarantine, even though I did not enjoy quarantine at all. It was horrible for my mental health. But some of the things was like, oh well, everyone's home. Let's all meet for a social distancing beer. All of us would meet like say in our own lawns, like it's getting to know people, and getting to know your neighbors really hasn't been something that, especially in the military, we had neighbors for a couple months, and then they move or we deploy, and they come back, whatever. It's not really something I had done, unless I was younger. When I was younger, that's what happened. I was actually even telling a bunch of these guys that I was just at a party with, hey, remember in 2012 when Hurricane Sandy hit and the cell phone towers were out and there was no you couldn't call people. You had to actually go, thank you guys for 20 likes, you have to actually go and knock on people's doors, which we hadn't done since the 90s. That was that was so much fun. That was for all the horrible things that happened during Hurricane Sandy, one of the silver linings was that you were able to go and knock on people's, oh, I haven't seen this person's parents in years, because that's some people that were still living at home. That's what you saw. With me, I literally went to my old block and half my friends were still there. I moved out at 19, so it was when I went back. It was like they were in their early 20s, so it made sense that they were still there living at home. But it did like something that just never changed. It's like, this is awesome. This is so cool. Getting pizza. And that's also what I hope for in Earth 2 as well. I hope that we can just chill in virtual reality, and kind of like it was back in the day. We all just, obviously it's virtual reality technology, but we all just sit and reminisce about old times. Maybe we play hide and seek. Maybe have Manhunt. I know there's going to be awesome games in the Warring World, but there's other games that we could have in there too, like King of the Hill. We could have games where we all on top of this hill until you get kicked off, and then somebody else kicks you off. That type of thing is really fun. VR Landlord says, just bought my first secret rare on Vivi. Comic-Con potential has me FOMOing on the current prices, pre-millions of users. Yeah, a lot of these first, especially the Ron English ones, I probably should pay for the Ron English ones, because that is the first time Ron English had an NFT, and it's on Vivi, and oh my god, Comic-Con is going to be a game changer for this, and they haven't even started advertising yet. That's going to be something that is, I'm happy to see this. Like, this is it. This is like, we're the pioneers of all of it. We're the pioneers of Earth 2, of virtual reality, of NFTs. What we say goes. What we're doing, we are deciding what is popular, what flies and what doesn't fly. At the end of the day, companies have to kowtow to us. Like Amazon, nope, customer's always right. Walmart, customer's always like, if we say we don't like something, and they're gonna go and fix it, or they're just gonna lose us as customers. And right now, I 100% see Vivi. Am I nudging people in that direction? Sure, but there's no other places to nudge them. It's not like we have, okay, there's a Sony, for PlayStation, there's an N64, Nintendo, and there's an Xbox, for Microsoft. It's not like that. There's no other places where you can get these quality NFTs or these even type of NFTs. You can make the argument that, let's say Facebook goes in and they try to throw billions of dollars out there, let's say 10 billion, to get all these licenses. They can't get the exact same ones. They can't get the exact same licenses for these NFTs that they're doing. Maybe they can make trading cards, maybe they can make other types of NFTs, but they can't do what these guys are doing. It's impossible. So that's why I'm not worried about it. And also, these guys are first to market. First to market, they have the licensing brand, they had Alfred Kahn. Like, this is why I'm not opposed to only putting, when I sell that Trophy Kangaskhan, only putting 75 grand into Bitcoin and 125 grand into OMI. Again, depending on what I sell it for, I might do just 75 grand to Bitcoin and 150 grand to OMI, depending if I can sell it for a lot more. But obviously, I have that realty company I'm opening up with our realty next year. But again, if you have, let's say you have a million OMI, and then out of the million OMI that you have, which is only costing you a couple grand, at 10 cents, that's $100,000 that you have. That is life-changing money for a lot of people. You're taking something like a couple grand and you're just betting on black, like honey, and I've told people, like I was telling these guys, this guy Ricky and this girl Rachel, I was like, listen, this is what I would do if I were you. If I found this and I knew what I knew about OMI, I would do this. I would sell what you have and just try to put all on that. And he says, yeah, we'll put some on there. I was like, listen, if it turns out to be false, I'll cover you guys. I'll get back. I'll give it back to you. I'm so confident on this. More so than I was in Tesla, and I'm more so than I was in Tesla, because Tesla, it's so hard to create a car company and to be successful. But I knew that they were first to market, and there will be competition. But right now, there is no competition for VV. They have won the decade, and it is stupid freaking early. Nobody knows it yet. People will have gone on in the future. They'll look at my videos, they'll look at Taps Trades, Cavell Anderson, and they'll know, oh, okay, yeah, this is these guys knew. And yeah, put 2 grand in now when this comes 10 cents. Okay, well, now you have 2 grand now gets you a million OMI, and when it reaches 10 cents, now you have $100,000. Okay, well, what do you do? Like that again? That's life-changing money for people. And hodl as long as you can. Grandmaster Mala says, when do you think full self-driving will get cheaper? It won't. Full self-driving will continue to increase in price as the technology gets better, because what you can do is buy a car with full self-driving right now. Well, even let's say a Model Y. Let's say it's $42,000, and then with full self-driving, let's say you spend $55,000, $60,000 total on it. That car will make you $25,000 a year when you're not even working. That car will make you $25,000 a year when full self-driving is solved, just by going out on the ride-sharing network. So that car is working. That is an alternative asset, because that's not a car anymore. Most cars, they go down in value. This is something that does not. It gets more valuable as time goes on. So full self-driving will not get cheaper. Full self-driving will continue to grow to, I think it'll be worth, I don't know, probably at one point maybe $20,000. I mean, it's already increased from 4 to 7 when I locked it in, to 8 to $10,000 now. It'll be $12,000 soon. It'll keep getting more and more expensive, because the technology just gets better and it gets safer too. And I guarantee you, before the decade is out, there will be some, at least legislation proposed to ban human drivers, because the technology will be so good. And I guarantee you, it's going to be the left saying that, oh, okay, the same people that are saying, oh, if you're not wearing a mask, you hate grandmas. They're going to be saying, oh, if you're not letting automated driving drive you around, that must mean you hate people. Because automated driving, full autonomous driving, is so much safer than human drivers. Already, you see it with Teslas. If they have the full safety features engaged and they have full self-driving on, at least what they have now, they already crash 4 times less than any other vehicle anywhere in the world. And they're safest by bar none. And that's already when it's still relatively amateurish. It's not complete yet. as that continues to go on, I guarantee you before the end of the decade, there is legislation that is proposed, maybe not passed, to ban human drivers, to just make it full artificial intelligence. I guarantee it. You might think I'm crazy, but that is what I see. Investments for the rest of us. What are you going to do with the Cybertrucks in the years before they'll be able to self-drive? So before then, I'll definitely have one. Honestly, what I might do, I don't know, because like I'll have a realty company, RA Realty, but maybe I'll just go around and just help people. I'll just hey, you need to move some wood from Lowe's, or you need to go move whatever. I got a truck. We'll go take it in the Cybertruck, or go out camping. Or just go driving around in it, like actual driving around. See how it is for fun. I mean, bulletproof, and go drive through many cool areas. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. E2 Treasure Hunt says, at basic as the Earth 2 platform is, we're already using the tile system for our puzzles, and we're paying out cash prizes. There are always ways to be creative. Yeah, I agree 100%. There are always ways to make games out of anything. And that's what I love about the Earth 2 community. Yes, we're all creative, but it's just all about giving. It's all about going up and finding people to just have adventures with. And this is something that, again, that's what the world's going towards, virtual reality and virtual real estate. This is the type of thing that creates generational wealth. This is the type of thing that creates wealth that outlasts you, maybe even outlasts your kids. Especially if you have virtual real estate. The fact that they have people that are talking about ETFs for virtual real estate is insane. But not really, because again, that's the way the Earth is going. When you have those, I have to go to the bathroom again, but it's only been an hour, Tony. That's where the future of it is going, and I love every single part of it. I love being able to share this with you guys. Like I'll keep going all night. I'll do into the morning sun, whatever you guys want to do. Corisco says, you must be very morally flexible to scam people into investing in Earth 2. Maybe that's why you have no problem being called a beaner, a slang always having a derogatory meaning. Well, I mean, if you do it in like a mean-spirited way where it's not funny, then that's just not funny. It's just being racist. But no, I love people, and I hope based off of I don't know what your name is, Corisco. Wherever you are, I'm in New York. If you want to meet up, like let's go grab a beer. Let's meet in person. Again, ask me anything, but no, I definitely, the last thing I would ever want to do is hurt people, especially animals, and so scamming them out of whatever they have. This Earth 2, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I honestly believe, I think the game has already changed the world. Like it's already impacted the way we hope and imagine for things in a very positive way. And two, I also think that virtual land, even if you talk about Decentraland, Uppark, VPark, My Neighbor Alice, World of Warcraft, Fortnite, it's not one-to-one maps, Roblox and Minecraft, it's not one-to-one blocks of Earth. It's their own universes, which is fine, but it is something that's why the people in South Korea are so aggressive about Earth 2, is because it's something that they can't get property on their own. So getting property in virtual real estate, virtual land, is the next best thing, and probably the future. They would know. South Korea is very, very ahead of its time. And I do feel bad for, I don't know what generation you come from, Corisco, but I definitely come from, that latter part of the older millennials where I associate with Gen Xers and some, especially I served with a lot of them. And a lot of them that didn't say like, listen, Chavez, just because you talk on someone on Facebook or whatever, if you can't have a beer with them, you're not really friends. I don't care what you say. And so I can understand when people come up from that side and they don't understand that the world is changing, and they don't understand that where things can go. Whereas some of the best people I ever met, I met on Pokemon Facebook groups. And I met on video game Pokemon or video game groups as well on Facebook. And this guy Dario I met on Reddit. My friend, one of my best friends, Lilith, I met on Facebook. One of my best friends, Erica, who I dated, I met on Facebook. Like a bunch of these people that I just meet because of Ron Paul back in the day, because libertarian. We meet and we're all just amazing friends. So again, I don't know what generation you're at, uh, cars go. But this way of investing in Earth 2, what I believe is literally taking the world by storm, in the best ways. And it's, again, people are already making money with this, and I've given away thousands of dollars already in giveaways and in whether it's tiles, and yeah, so it's, and you could come on my channel. Some people come on my channel and go to Guidebook Gaming's channel, or there's an actual channel called Earth 2 Giveaways where all they do is just give away tiles. So I do it, other people do it. You don't have to spend any money. People are literally giving away tiles because that's what they do. They're not giving away tiles if they have only 10 tiles to give, or maybe they are. Some people are really, really generous, but some people do that because they want to share the success. Like back in the day when we were having a party and we were getting tiles on 10 cents, 11 cents, that just can't happen nowadays. So we want to share the wealth. We want to like how people in South Africa, they used to, what they would do is they would stand on the shallows of the water and they would call on the dolphins. They'd make a call, and the dolphins would then drive in schools of fish, and people in South Africa would throw out their nets, and they would catch the fish in their nets, but they would catch the dolphins in the nets also. But as they drag their nets in to shore, the dolphins, they didn't struggle. They don't, because they understand that they're going to be let go. And when they're let go, they're out to sea. The dolphins wait in the shallows of the water, and the fishermen, they give part of their share to the dolphins for driving in those schools of fish. Like they split the spoils, as it were. And that's what a lot of these Earth 2, the original content creators like me, Ari Realty, Guidebook Gaming, Earth 2 Meta, he's not around with us anymore, but Bowl Combo, they're just people that got in really early and they want to share the wealth. They just want to go in and when I first started YouTube, it was just to talk about Pokemon sales data because nobody was talking about it, and I knew different ways to monetize money, and I had that business. I started it 3 weeks before COVID entered, and then I turned profit for that business the first year because of my knowledge that nobody else was using. And people, like, if there was a college class taught about it, they would talk about my method of the 5x8 method. The PSA 10s sell for 5 to 8 times of what the PSA 9s sell for, first edition, Hollows, WotC. Unless they're Shining cards. Shining first editions usually sell for double because of these reasons. So I always talk about what I know with such passion because I believe in them long term. And if you want me to do a veterinary channel, again, not medical advice, some things to do, to watch out for when you go to bring your dog to a veterinarian. Okay, well, what they should do is check the heart. They should check their eyes. They should check their ears. Check their, their spine. Their hip flexors and everything. And I've been bugging my girlfriend to do it because she's a veterinarian. I was like, hey, I was bugging my friend Mark to do it because he was a veterinarian. He still is. I was like, you guys should do this channel, like what to expect, or and if your veterinarian doesn't do these things, then try to find another veterinarian. That type of deal. So yeah, Chris. Yeah, Carisco. I definitely only want to help people. Grillmaster 420 says, yeah, I love that, and possible ways to keep ourselves busy is going to be endless. And Grillmaster said hi. Hi to Carrasco. Godmaster Ryan says, what do you think about OMI possibly leaving behind tokens? If they do, would you care if it's 100 to 1 tokens? Well, I don't think they're actually going... I don't know. Like a reverse split would be... No. So what happens in stocks, like let's say if you have, they do a reverse split, let's say, 10 to 1. If you have 10 of these shares, now you only have 1 of these shares, but that 1 share is worth 10 times what 1 used to be worth. So essentially, nothing changes, just the amount of shares. So if they do like a 500 to 1 OMI split, or 100 to 1 OMI split, and now instead of having, let's say I have 10 million, which I'm close to. Let's say I have 10 million. Now I only have 1 million. But that 1 million is worth the same as what 10 million was. That's it doesn't really matter. What I think they're going to do is they're just going to do a massive burn of probably several billion, probably tens of billions, if not, yeah, probably tens of billions of OMI is going to be burned. when they go to Immutable X, when they go to Ethereum blockchain, most likely. Um, but yeah, if they do a split like that, I'd rather them not do it, just because that would mess with me. Just my mind, like, okay, now I have to get used to these numbers. Freddie Mercury says, "Hey Randy, what's up? I just got up from bed, 7:35 a.m. here. Hey Freddie Mercury. So we're just talking about here. We've been going all night. We'll be going for ever. Actually, it is 1 hour 30 minutes. So it's time for another Patreon member shout out. Always I wanna be with you and make believe with you and sing in harmony, harmony, all. That was Robot Unicorn Attack. For anyone that was wondering, Robot Unicorn Attack was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're just talking about good life, and some people trying to call me a scammer, which obviously you guys know I'm not. Eagle Hong says, if the mobility problem is solved by automated driving, AI, internet services will go bigger and bigger. I hope all technologies follow up well with software, and that's why I'm so bullish on Tesla. That's why I have 188 shares, not for sale. I'm keeping those, again, generational wealth. Evil Hong also says, how cool would that be, AI-driven Tesla integrated with AR or VR services for shopping and takeaway food? Yeah, that's going to be a real thing as well. The only thing that won't be disrupted right away is something like Uber Eats or something like that, or Instacart, because you still have someone have to go in and pick everything up. You could, well, it's going to be very, very cheap to do that, because right now, what you're paying is just for convenience. When you have someone Instacarting something, when you have someone Uber Eating something, it's just convenience. You can go out and do that yourself, but that's a convenience thing. So that'll still be around. But as far as getting from point A to point B, Tesla, when that comes out, it's going to be so much cheaper, like 40-50% cheaper than everything else that's out on the market, because they're not going to have a driver, because it's going to be auto. And when they don't have a driver, okay, one, they don't have to pay for that, and two, also, there's not going to be any sexual harassment claims from any of their drivers, because they're not going to have drivers. So it's going to be a big safe space for women as well. Women would probably opt to go get a Tesla ride-sharing network as opposed to someone by Uber or Lyft. God forbid, let's say they get someone that's a little weird, that maybe makes a snide or weird comment to them, saying like, "Oh, looking very pretty tonight," something like that. They talk in an accent or whatever. And maybe women just don't want to feel that way. Maybe women just don't want to be gawked at, and they just want to get their ride from a Tesla, no driver in there. Perfect. Evil Han said, we would not even have to leave the vehicles in big cities. Yeah, that's been great as well. John Doe says, I've been reading about El Salvador accepting Bitcoin, and if you invest into El Salvador with 3 Bitcoin, the government will give you automatic citizenship. Hold on one sec. If you invest into El Salvador with 3 Bitcoin, so that is also $100,000. Then they'll give you automatic citizenship. Yeah, I mean, El Salvador, you're going to see that country go into a emerging market very, very quickly, because now Bitcoin's got to be accepted. Yeah, you're going to see that value go up, skyrocket. And it's not just them. Panama's going to do it. That puts pressure on other these Central and Southern American countries to start accepting Bitcoin. And that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. I can't wait for that. That's the way, again, I've been advocating for Bitcoin for a long time. And that it's going to be huge. Like, the mass adoption is coming. And that's why I'm very bullish on trying to get as much OMI as possible now, as much Bitcoin as I can now, because only going to get bigger. E2 Treasure Hunt says, Shane says Essence and Jewels coming this month or next. We want to give those away as well. We're so freaking pumped about this. Oh, good. Yeah, and that's what I love about this as well. I love about the developers keeping in contact with us. They're very similar to Elon Musk. I've seen they work their hearts out. And whatever they were developing, I'm betting on them. Like, I hope they don't do any other project, because this project definitely aged them. But whatever they do, I would bet on them. I see the hard work they're doing, and it's amazing that they're still standing. There's so much that they're doing. But yeah, I'm very excited for Essence and Jewels. Hopefully, again, Shane wants it to be this month, but even if it's not, I'm okay with that. Take your time. Clickboom Studios says, hey Randy, can you go over all the AR features the devs have actually said they plan to have? I actually don't know AR features. I mean, at the end game, like the end goal, like end of the decade, Ready Player One. But as far and I don't know if you're talking about VV or if you're talking about Earth Two, but both of them got both companies got their inspiration from Ready Player One, which I thought was very cool. You know that VV verse, crossing over to Earth Two at some point. The developers of VV said they're not interested at this time, but I think at some point they will. They just said at this time, so I'm pretty sure before this decade ends, they will have a partnership where they can cross over their NFTs and all that. But I actually don't know their plans for augmented reality and all that. Junior Sanchez, what's up? I'm late, but I'm here. It's all good, Junior Sanchez. We're gonna go all night. We're gonna go all night. It's been an hour and a half. We're still gonna go. Investivus for the rest of us says, I'm going to start with $50 in Earth 2. What country's location should I buy? Well, link down below to Chavez Topia. You can definitely buy there. But also, Ziggurat City is really good. Go watch a couple of my other videos. Go watch a bunch of other people's videos. There's so much reading material that My Name is Human podcast has on their website, and go into my other stuff. Ziggurat City is great. You have a bunch of places like Guidebook Gaming. A bunch of their territories are bigger than Chavez Topia, just because they were able to put in 5 figures worth of money when it first started, when they first got in, where I wasn't, because I was paying off that trophy Kangaskhan. But yeah, I would say also right now, if you want to get, let's say 5 or 8 or 9 tiles in Chavez Topia, all right, let's say it costs you like $20, and the rest, go buy class 2 tiles anywhere that says, like, the new land tile price is, let's say, 50 cents or 60 cents, even 70 cents. Go on the marketplace in those countries. You're going to be able to find them for 40-50% off, and you can find tiles for 37 cents. Go have a party. Go have a party and go buy as many tiles as you can for there. It doesn't matter, because they're still class 2 tiles. Class 2 tile in America that's worth $25, or a class 2 tile somewhere else that's worth 25 cents. Most likely, they're both going to produce the same amount of resources and the same amount of essence. So that's what I do now currently. I buy in Chavez Topia, yes, because that's where my megacity is, but I also buy off the marketplace in places that are really undervalued. Class 2 tiles for under 40 cents is mind-boggling, but that happens every single day. That if you, oh my God, people that buy it for 10 and 20 cents and like, oh, well, I could just sell it for 35, 36 cents. But the market sets that price too, because people aren't listing for under 36 cents, 37 cents. They're listing at about that because they know what people are willing to pay. There are sometimes I find things on there for 35 cents, 34 cents. I scoop them up. But yeah, other people don't. Clickboom Studio says, hoping to see you in the ring with Logan Paul next year. Your arms look cute. Oh, I actually I hurt my shoulder, so I actually don't have a I actually haven't been working out just because but maybe it's because I have been running a little bit more. Maybe I'm cutting down on the fat a little bit. Thank you, though. Thank you, Clickboom Studios. I'll get back to my regularly scheduled programming up here. Yeah, so Investivus for the rest of us. That's what I would say. I'd say yeah, Chavez Topia, but then other places as well. Go do that. Jason says, what do you think about Earth 2 hiring the scammer developer Various Benson? I don't know his real name, if that's his real name or not. Apparently, again, Guidebook Gaming has gone over this, I think, a couple of times. So they're definitely a little more well-informed than I am about this guy. I only know what I know from him from screenshots. I'll tell you guys what I know and what I think in my mind, which, again, could be based on old knowledge. But from what I've seen, is that this guy had, when he was 17 in 2019, or in 2019, yeah, he was 17, so he's very young. He had created something, and when he created something, he says, okay, I'm CEO, or I'm this of this business, and he told the last company he worked with that he was going into the military. I don't know if he ever did or not, but some of the, again, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't think he actually scammed anyone. I think it was actually just him, I would say lying, like making, I guess, false statements. Yeah. So, but I don't know the whole story. I don't know what was behind it, but clearly if he has talent, and 17-year-old, you're pretty stupid. Like, even in the smartest, a lot of ones I know, they're just inexperienced with the world. Like 17, yes, you could be very, very smart, very, very book smart, intelligent, maybe you see a couple of different things that people that, let's say if you're, you know, a 17-year-old and you grew up like kind of like on the streets in a rough neighborhood, you know a lot of life that people that were pampered that they never did. um, but 17-year-olds, for the most part, they're pretty inexperienced, they're pretty stupid. So with him saying something at 17 and getting a bunch of screenshots taken, saying, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, when you're young, you're dumb. I don't know if he ever went into the military, but if he did, hope that straightened out a little bit. But either way, I'm not 100% convinced that this guy actually scammed anyone. I think maybe he just said something that maybe wasn't true, and then just trying to make himself look bigger or better than he was. But either way, if he's got enough talent to be taken on by the devs, I trust them. I choose to trust them. Alone, what's going on? Says, yo, Randy, long time no see. Hope you're doing great. I'm doing very, very well. I started this live stream just to well, one, because Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. You know, coming back from a friend's house, and I was just feeling myself. I was feeling really good. I actually made a video that I don't even know if I'll upload. It was meant to be like not a goodbye video. It was like, watch this when I die. And it was just me talking about, it's just me being on Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, still a little tipsy, saying like, hey, I just want everyone to love everyone. I just want everyone to be cool with each other, be kind with each other. Like, we're all just trying to do the best that we can. And that's what it is. Like, that's like, I look at some of my friends today that, you know, they're parents now, and it's like, they're just trying the best that they can. Like, parents back in the day, like, nobody knows what the hell is going on, but they're trying the best that they can. Like, and at some point, everyone has to realize your parents aren't perfect people. Like, you know, many of us knew that from literally the time we were born, when they make us feel like shit for everything. But for some people that do have that, you know, oh wow, my mom or dad, like, they're the greatest. I never knew what that was like. As far as I never held my parents or anyone in such high esteem, like they're perfect, no one can do no wrong, you know, they can do no wrong. So I wonder, that's probably traumatic for some people, finding out that their parents aren't always right about everything. I knew that from like as soon as I could think. But there was, yeah, that also scared me. You know, if I were to ever have kids. Okay, they're smarter than me. Oh man, like what, you know, I can't control them. Because you can't. Even a lot of parents, they might want what's best for their kids, but you can't tell your kids who to love. You can't tell your kids who to. You can like try to guide them towards a different way. Hey, don't hang out. You know, this person like seems to want to do a lot of shady stuff. Try to keep you away from the shady stuff. But again, sometimes those lead to the best stories. You know, those lead to the, you know, really fun nights. But yeah, you want to keep your kids, but parents don't know what they're doing. Like, because like some like the people out there, the parents, like, we're trying our best, and yeah, they're good parents, and I got to give it to them. Like, a lot of the parents that I know, they're friends that I have, that they're really good parents. Like, they know their kids' teachers' names, and they know like, but not just that, they know who their favorite like superhero is. They know their kids, you know, what their favorite car is, what, you know, what their fears are. Like, these are actually good parents. Like, when we were younger, like, our parents didn't know anything about us. Like, they thought that what we were doing was like kid stuff. Like, they like their superheroes, they like their, you know, whatever, they like their Pokemon. But a lot of my friends right now, or even my friends' friends that I just came from, they actually take interest in what their kids like. Hey, what are you going in? And they can name some of their monsters that they're, you know, playing with or whatever. Like, this is his favorite. So yes, they know their teachers' names, and they know, you know, what maybe they need extra help with certain things or whatever. But they also know like what's important to them, what their favorite dinosaur is, and that's a lot you really only saw with a big distinction with moms and dads, especially when fighting for custody. The mom knew exactly, you know, who their kid's doctor was, who their teacher was, what they're doing while in school. But the mom, a lot of times in divorce courts, they don't know what's like important to the kid. Like, they don't know, you know, what their favorite superhero is, or if they had a superpower. What the dad knew that. The dad knew exactly what like the fun stuff was. Like, you know, and you know, you need a sense of both. But I see my friends now and being parents doing both. Like, they know what they need to do. Like, their doctor's names, they both know everything that's going on at school. and then they know exactly what their kids are doing for fun. That is one of the most important things to me because I didn't have that growing up. All I had was, we found other friends and, we best relationships because of it. But we never had that with our parents growing up. So, yeah, moving on. Ibu Hong says, there is Pokemon City. There is a Pokemon City, and I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that to come out. I can't wait for people to make a virtual Pallet Town, even though Pallet Town was nothing. Pallet Town was just, a couple, but Professor Oak's Town, like the music. I play it on the piano for you right now if it's not plugged in. There's so much stuff on it. Yeah, that's I can't wait for that. Just to be nostalgic, just to have that thing in virtual reality. Viridian City. I'm just talking about first generation Cinnabar Island, but when it gets to be okay, now there's second generation. Now you have Johto. All right, we're moving on from Kanto Project, moving on to Johto Project, and the really cool actual lore that's there as well. And I'm going to go on a tangent then for a little bit. But for those of you that don't know, Giovanni is a superstitious man in the Pokemon universe, and when you have in the first game, you have a land being stomped out by someone's Machoke and people's Machops. They're stomping out land for a construction project. We didn't know what that was until 3 years later. 3 years later, we see a because at what they were doing at the time, were Lavender Town. Lavender Town, it was literally a ghost town because Lavender Town, all they had was that Pokemon graveyard, which was for free, and they had Celadon City, a major metropolis to the west, and they didn't have a gym, they didn't even like Pewter City. They had a museum, down in Cinnabar Island. Outside of the gyms, they had a Pokemon laboratory. But Lavender Town, they just had a place that was free to visit. It was a graveyard that was free to visit. And what had happened was they had seen Mr. Fuji, the mayor of the town, had seen all of the success that Johto had. Johto being to the west, Kantos to the east, and Johto's to the west, saying that okay, so all the success that Johto had with the radio tower, so they were going to put a radio tower into Lavender Town, which 3 years later, when we played Gold and Silver, that happened. But why you were seeing this person stomping out in Vermilion City, it was a Vermilion City construction project, was because they needed a place to take those dead bodies. That's where the radio tower was. So they needed a place to take those dead Pokemon, the Pokemon that had deceased and passed on, and they were going to put them in Vermilion City. But what was happening was that these Pokemon were being moved from their resting spot, so the ghosts would come out and they would attack the Machop and the Machoke that were on there, and their ghost type Pokemon. So the Machoke and the Machamps and whatever, their attacks could not affect the ghost Pokemon. So the construction project always stalled because the Pokemon kept fainting, and that's just what happened. So Giovanni wanted to give people Silph Scopes for everyone, for the ghosts, to be able to combat that. But then, we came in and we destroyed them. But that's what that was. That was Giovanni being superstitious, trying to give them a final resting place in Vermilion City, and then it just not working. And then you see later in the Johto games that whole area, it's still under construction, or it's not under construction anymore. It's just a abandoned lot. It's a vacant lot now. And the lore is that every once in a while they'll see a stranger come in from Kanto or come in from Johto into the Kanto region, saying that they still see the old man and his Machop there. I was like, oh, that's really cool. But yeah, that's the local lore that I thought was really good. It's really fun. Investors for the rest of us says, I keep hearing rumors that Elon Musk was invested in E2. Anything you know? I don't think so. Although he's mentioned Polytopia, he's mentioned playing games and for him going to virtual reality, talking about that with Joe Rogan, talking about Lex Friedman, I'm pretty sure he might not know of Earth 2, but he's a nerd. He's one of us. Like, I guarantee you, he would have much more fun talking with us about potential virtual reality and gaming than he would about just business meetings. I know, because I, like him, in that business world, again, I don't have a publicly traded company, but a lot of the stuff's like, yes, I'll talk finance and I like making money and that's good stuff, but I like video games. Like at the end of the day, whatever I could be doing, could be in Vegas, could be in Japan, whatever. I love hanging out with normal people like me, like this guy Paul that just drove me home, talking about Super Smash Brothers. Hey, are these tournaments back in the day? Yeah, these tournaments are awesome. Like just back at our parents' houses, and we could be anywhere in the world. I mean, he's got kids, but doing whatever. But no, the fun time is still just playing video games. And Elon Musk actually, when uh, he was on a podcast with these kids that had coders. They had the coders that they got coding in their school, and they were trying to get it into all the other schools in the U.S. For younger coders. And he would go in and talk to them, the presidents, like the founders of this club, and they would talk to him just like normal stuff. And he's like, yeah, like we don't have to go. Like, yeah, I know we're at our hour, half hour time slot or hour slot, but we could still keep talking. Like Elon Musk was saying, like, no, we can still keep talking about this because he was having such a good time because that's his crew. So I don't think he's invested in Earth 2. I think we'll be able to play Earth 2 on Teslas because you can play Cyberpunk on Teslas. So yeah, and like old school other older hardware you can't, but you can play them on Teslas. So I think this is something we'll have. I don't think he's invested in Earth 2 in any way. Although Shane did say he met with two billionaires, and Elon Musk was in Australia at the time he said that was happening. So it is very possible. I feel like he would have talked about it because for those that don't know, I came from doing Tesla videos. I have 188 shares. I am invested slowly, so I follow where Elon Musk goes, what he does, and he was in Australia on the same week that Shane said he was meeting with two billionaires, and one of them probably could have been Elon Musk, about the game. And it's possible that they met, and it's possible that they met and Elon said like, yeah, let me wait till you have a finished game, and and then I'll talk about like a endorsement or whatever. But Elon Musk, I'm sure, would have taken that meeting because of what virtual reality is, and just yeah, you could see it. But to my nothing officially, Elon Musk has not said anything about Earth 2. Earth 2 Treasure Hunt, what's your adult beverage of choice tonight? So it was Godiva chocolate. That was it tonight. It was Godiva chocolate with Bailey's Irish cream. It was so good. That was my adult beverage. John Doe says, honestly, Class 1 under 70 cents is a better deal than Class 2 under 40 cents. And you might very well be right. I don't know if we are right now because we don't know the spawn rates. We don't know the spawn rates of resources. We don't know the spawn rates of not just the resources, but of the essence as well. So we'll see. But you could very well be right. Jason says, it's weird that they hire a 19-year-old who's a known liar and arguably screwed a lot of people out of their money not even 2 years ago. I don't want to be negative, but it seems like a red flag. Again, I don't know if I don't know anything about the guy. Definitely go Guidebook Gaming. I think has covered them. I'm not 100% sure though, but link to Guidebook Gaming down below. They'll, just skip through. They've probably done that. They've probably covered it. Jason Finn says, you repping Ron Paul gives me more of a reason to be here. My brother and I went to see Ron Paul speak at UCLA and Fullerton in 2012, and the Fed. Oh my! So for those of you that don't know, and I hate to associate him with Bernie, Ron Paul was like, back in the day, there was a movement of like everyone was tired of the BS, the left and the right hated everyone, and out from the shadows came Ron Paul. It's like saying like, okay, well, let's bring the let's bring the troops home because they just march in, just come home. So that was a big thing for me because for me, we were at war for more than half of my life, and now all of my adult life. I have some people that I served with is like their whole time that they've served, country was at war. Their kids now that their kids are serving and they are still at war. And Ron Paul was like, no, we should take care of our people at home and audit the Federal Reserve. For those that don't know, Federal Reserve was created in 1913. It's no more federal than Federal Express. It's a private company. And what they do is the U.S. government says, hey, can you print like $1 trillion for us? They print $1 trillion for them. And we just want to audit the Federal Reserve. Audit them. That's all we're asking for. And there's bills cannot be passed for auditing the Federal Reserve. Why? Because they're buying and paying for so many of these politicians, and it's absolute BS. And Ron Paul came in, no, like, abolish Federal Reserve. Like go. He like at the very least, his son Rand Paul wants to audit them, which is great. But he was about abolishing the Federal Reserve. I was like, get him, Ron Paul, get him. And he wasn't about left versus right. He was just what was right for the country, right for the person. Treat everyone as an individual, and that's what he ran on. And what got did to him, what got done to Bernie Sanders. And I disagree with most of what Bernie Sanders had to say, but he got screwed twice now. The same way Ron Paul got screwed. Ron Paul was getting so many of these delegates. Everywhere was going. Nevada, California, North Carolina, South Carolina. Everywhere was getting so many delegates. And then the Republican National Convention. A lot of people say like, "Oh, you like Trump support or whatever." I like some of the stuff that Trump did, yes, but I am not a Republican because of the way they treated Ron Paul. Because of the way that they went and changed the rules at the Republican National Convention so that Ron Paul couldn't speak, that Ron Paul couldn't. They stopped. A bunch of his delegates were on buses. They stopped his buses from getting into the convention. Like so many delegates on there that couldn't get in because they had stopped it. They had literally like tried to shut down the man, and they did successfully. 2008 and 2012. But I would die for that man. I love that man so much. And he just taught about just like this is what's right for our country. This is what's right. Treat people as individuals, individual liberty, and they shut him down because he was gaining too much traction. And same thing with Bernie Sanders. Again, even though Bernie Sanders is polar opposite of Ron Paul, Bernie Sanders wants too much government, and Ron Paul wants, I don't want to say not enough, but he wants to be like as little government as possible, which I agree with. Because I worked for the government for so many years and they're idiots. Like the amount of waste that's there, that we give out to contractors like Corvallis, DynCorp, Blackwater Federal contracts, like there's a bunch of, you name it, wherever they're there. There's no reason that in Afghanistan, you can't do your own laundry. Why can't you do your own laundry? Because there's somebody in there that's making $100,000 to do so. That's right. It's people making $100,000 in Afghanistan, and it is not soldiers. It is not us. It is not the military. It is civilian contractors that are waiting to give you your pen. Like, oh, hey, if you want to use the morale tent, here, sign your name. Use the morale tent. Use the internet that we have here. And they go and they're making $100,000 a year, where we're not even. We were making maybe maybe $4,000 a month, like deployed. Hazard pay, tax-free, eminent danger pay, whatever. And it's ridiculous. So, and that's what Ron Paul is bringing to light. Is bringing like there's so much government waste. We shouldn't have this. Overhaul the government, that type of thing. So moving on. All right, that was it. That was the last comment I got from Jason Finn. I've been going for about 2 hours now, but yeah, I love talking about anything. Let me know what you guys want more of. You want more of Pokemon? You want more of like politics? You want more of just life in general? Any life advice, financial advice? Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so not financial advice. Yeah, just let me know in the comments. I'm here for anything. But I guess as far as the Pokemon lore stories, I think that I had up to 30 viewers when I was talking about that. Did you kill his Raticate? In that first game, did you kill Gary's Raticate? Well, you don't know because he had Rattata at some point, and then at some point he didn't. And you could make the argument that he's just switching in one Pokemon for another. You didn't really kill him. But then the next time you see him is at the Pokemon graveyard, and it's like, your Pokemon don't look dead. And because again, the theory goes is that you saw him on the SS Anne, and because of all the confusion what happened with the SS Anne, maybe he didn't get off in time, and he couldn't find a Pokemon Center, and you hurt his Raticate too bad that the Raticate actually died, because the next time you see him is in Lavender Town, and said your Pokemon don't look dead, and yeah, so that was something that was, yeah, a lot of spooky stuff happens with Pokemon. A lot of spooky stuff happens with all these different things. So it's about 2 hours. I'm going to give my Patreon members another shout out. It's very, very rare that we go for 2 hours. So I did Slipknot already. I did crashed on a floor when I moved in a little bungalow with some strange new friends. Stay up too late and I'm too thin. We promised each other. All right, there we go. Vanessa Carlton for y'all. Something that I can also play on piano. Yeah, at the end of the day, I love what. Well, and I love when the haters come on because we're able to go and talk about why this is not a scam, why we would definitely not scam people, and I feel like it's so, and I don't want to like pat myself on the back too much, but I feel like it's so hard to talk to me or Ari real and at the end of the day, at the end of having a beer with someone, think that I'm a bad person, that we're trying to scam people, that we're not. Yeah, I don't. But anyone that makes content that I know of, I don't see them. I just see them as all good people. I don't see anyone that's even like mean. Everyone that's just like they're fun. The only mean people I see are the haters, are people saying that this is a scam when we obviously know it's not. But yeah, that's why I wish, when people, pray for your enemies, like, yeah, I wish them well. People that call me clown or call me whatever, because I think in order to be hateful, in order for them to get to that point in their life where they're taking someone that's trying to do something positive and they're trying to tear them down, well, they definitely have not been shown a lot of love, and maybe they need that. So maybe they need a hug. Maybe they need to feel good. Maybe they need to just feel like, hey, let's be friends. Maybe no one's offered that to them. Maybe they were bullied in middle school and high school, and then they became, whatever, and then they bully other people. Now they're just a dick. That now they're and they do that as a defense mechanism because, well, if I'm a dick to people, then you can't get close enough to hurt me. Then you can't get close enough to say mean things to me because I'm going to say mean things to you. So I think if you take those people and you friend them and you buy them beer, and it's like, hey, let me try to offer you friendship. Let me try to, I think that softens them a little bit. And I see that with a lot of men also. Like a lot of the guys I served with that have, wives that soften them, but they tame the wild people. It's like, oh, that's fun. Grillmaster 420 says, thanks, Randy. You're a great person. Love the journey thus far, and so much more to come. 100%. I can't wait for the future. Honda X Dream says, are you invested in Decentraland as well? I'm not. And I'm not because I don't think it's a good investment. I think that's something that has potential long term, but I'm not because it's not innovative enough for me. It's not disruptive enough for me to take that much attention to it. But Earth 2 is. OMI and VV. Tesla was. Bitcoin is. OMI is. Earth 2 is. And Pokemon. Yeah, so these disruptive industries is what really I focus on. And different high risk lending, because that's how I made my fortune. That's how I made myself very successful. I just came from my friend Dan's place, which, it was his birthday yesterday. And he taught me a lot about that industry, and I could not have been successful without him and my friend Lou. But we didn't have this, what do you call it? Sorry, the question again real quick. Yeah, so I strictly know how to invest in high risk stuff. And Decentraland, it's not even high risk because it's publicly traded. It's maybe a little riskier, but it's not disruptive enough for me. In the way that I saw some of these other companies. And I know the way I can look at companies the way nobody else looks at them. That's how I became successful. I became successful at all of these different banks saying, like, this person doesn't qualify because his credit is this, so he doesn't qualify for anything that we have. It's like, okay, but why is his credit like this? You're not looking at the fact that this guy, his credit's only, he's over leveraged because his last job, he did such a good job for, but they didn't pay him yet. And he does such a good job for everyone. His ratings online are through the roof, and he wants to take on this job for somebody else, but he has to pay his people. And so he pays his people out of his own pocket, and then he takes the materials for the next job on credit cards from Lowe's or Home Depot or what have you. And that's why his credit looks like it's over leveraged. Is because why he's stretched thin is because he's doing right by his company, sacrificing his own personal credit. And nobody else saw that. And I was like, I see this 100%. And they would, high risk? No, that's America. That is what America's built on. People just doing right for their customers, and they need a little help. And I was able to give it to them. And oh my God, yeah. But Decentraland, I don't see Decentraland as, because it falls to the same. They have Decentraland, My Neighbor Alice, Upland, VPark, everything else that is MMORPG. They all have the same thing working against them. The same thing in common is that none of them are Earth 2. None of them are a 1-to-1 scale of Earth 2. They're all their own separate universes. They're all their own separate virtual reality. But even so, somebody just bought some land in Decentraland for $750,000, about 750,000. Thank you guys for 25 likes. They bought that in Decentraland because of a virtual mall, and they bought that because of it is so much easier, and why Earth 2 is so disruptive, to build virtual malls in virtual reality, because it's so much less expensive. Like if I were to say, like a construction company says, hey, yep, we got a contract for this and this virtual mall. Yes, if I know them and they were a good client of mine, I'd help them out. But I would much rather people try to build a virtual mall in virtual reality, because you don't have to worry about hiring a construction company. You don't have to worry. Construction companies, a lot of them are ran on people that a lot of them are alcoholics. A lot of them have gambling issues. Like I was a therapist for my clients, because my clients, they had people working for them that had marital issues. This one had a baby mama. This one had gambling issues. This one, they were on drugs. And there's like Chavez, I don't know how to deal with all these. And I would be their therapist. I would try to like make them like, no, like you need to be this for this person. You need to wear your characters as lightly as a hat, because you never know when you're going to need the next person. One person could need like a stern, like stern talking. Another person could need compassion. Like, hey, I know this is rough right now, but you'll get through it. And yeah, so that $750,000, I would much rather virtual reality it, because hiring a construction company, one, you're probably going to run into some cost. Like they're not going to come in, if they can come in on time and under budget, great. But a lot of times it doesn't happen. A lot of time they run a little bit past their time, or they're a little bit over budget. But you don't have to worry about that with virtual real estate. What you pay is what you pay, and you could build whatever you want. So and there's no limits. There's no limits for, okay, now there's this construction. You have to get a construction guy in there, a plumber guy in there. Say like, oh, this foundation, yeah, we can't build the bathroom here. It's got to go here because of this piping. The way it works. They can't have these stores here because of this reason. And then you have a local saying like, nope, I'm not selling my house. You're having to try to buy people out. It doesn't work. It's so much cleaner in virtual reality. The virtual real estate is so much cleaner, and is very, very disruptive. That's why I'm 100% convinced that virtual reality in general is I'm very bullish on, but Earth 2 in my opinion. Growmasters, as the community is full of great-hearted people, can't wait to see everyone succeed. Yeah, I can't wait for that as well. I love people. I love it when my friends succeed. I love it when I can help them with stuff. That's very, very appropriate. Jason Finn says, I've been traveling. I'll be traveling for the next few years. What are some of your places in the U.S. I should do some photography? So Jason Finn does photography full time. Wondering what place in the U.S. So Red Rocks. Red Rocks are in Colorado. They are so beautiful. Places in Utah, just hiking there, beautiful. Some places in upstate New York is really beautiful as well. Some places actually in New York where I've sent. I hate the snow. I hate the cold. But sometimes after a light snow, everything looks really pretty. It really does. It's like, oh, it's literally out of a storybook. It's something that's like, it's magical. And some people don't get that, whether in Europe or Africa or South America, you just don't. So when you get it here, it's literally out of a storybook. And so definitely, New York, Long Island. I can show you so many different places on Long Island, but also New York City. There are these Russians. You've probably heard of them, that they get these amazing. They're illegal. Well, not the Russians, although they themselves probably are illegal, but they scale buildings, and they get the most beautiful shots. It's illegal what they do. It is against the law to go up and climb these structures, but you get some of the most beautiful shots in the world. You get some of these beautiful sceneries that nobody ever gets, that are unique, and that's what I think is so beautiful about humans. Like they go against the grain, and some people are willing to do what others aren't, and that's why they succeed in life. But also that's because they're getting these beautiful shots, these beautiful pieces of art that nobody else is getting. So definitely New York City skyline a lot is. I even made a status on my Snapchat the other day when I was flying in from Washington into New York. I was like, I will never get tired of flying into New York because it's just so beautiful. Like the lights, just the skyline, New York City skyline is just beautiful, and you're almost like in awe at it. Like, well, nothing was here, and then humans just decided they can create art. They can create art out of steel. Like if you were an alien, or if you were just a outside observer just looking at what humans are, it's really cool the way that, okay, yeah, we can send messages to each other. Like we talk on a phone and it gets broken down into bits of ones and zeros and translates to a satellite down somewhere else, and now we're talking to people anywhere in the world. You can do that on Zoom virtual. The people that I served with, that were some of the old school guys that were just saying like, yeah, we didn't have we had landlines that we could call. We didn't the internet wasn't really like a thing in like the 90s, or and they said like when the Iraq war first kicked off, like you didn't have that. Like Skype, you couldn't do that. You could maybe for a second, but now it's so ubiquitous and technology gets so much better. That's why I'm so bullish on Starlink as well. But yeah, Fields of Ohio are really good, but definitely Finn. Yeah, Jason Finn. If you want to spend some time in New York City, definitely let me know. I'll come. Me and my girlfriend will take you out somewhere, places of Brooklyn, and just even Brooklyn, just people wise, just having people go and just the streets, like main streets out there, people just doing stuff. It's really fun. But outside of New York, I know I'm romanticizing New York a little bit because it's beautiful. It's great. I love it. Um, but Florida's good. Orlando. Oh, the sunsets in Orlando are pretty beautiful as well. Miami. Yeah, definitely Harry Potter World. Vegas as well. Vegas is beautiful as well because they have a lot of shows like fountains. Like they have fountains, of water fountains. They put on water shows. I don't know how much it costs, maybe like $1 million a night or whatever to put on that show, but it's really beautiful. Disney as well. Harry Potter World, Orlando. Yes, there's so many beautiful spots in America. Yeah, I wish we could see it all. I wish we could. Um, Sign off says, it's a good day when the open-minded wizard is live on the weekend. Yeah. I'm gonna get some water real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, thanks guys. I'm back. No, I just like talking to people, and I like what Lex Friedman said the other day. So, and I think I mentioned this on this already. Like, what if people had this is just a game, and for every single person that there's an alien gamer, and why the population grows is because the game gets more and more popular over time. But we're just a game and an alien rate. Like, because think about it, like World of Warcraft and oh my God, what's that game that all these kids play? Fortnite. They have like 140 billion hours of game time play, and that's insane. But because they're so popular. So again, what if we're just a game for aliens? I thought that'd be really cool. But also, I think in that same breath, now cyber, let's say cyber diseases like cyber bugs, they can do more damage than actual physical viruses. Cyber viruses, I think now are at the point do a lot more physical damage than actual viruses. And COVID wasn't really that deadly. Like, to be honest, what, a 99.8% survival rate out of people who got it, but like, and that's mostly for the older people. I feel like COVID thing was really blown out of proportion. But yeah, thank God COVID was like this and it wasn't that dangerous, because if it was, let's say if it was 90% of people that got it died. Well, granted, they were all older. Not saying they're going to die anyway, but they were, what do you call it? They they were older and their immune system was down, and that's I feel like why they got it. It was deadly if you were older, um, or if you got it when you're younger, like, oh, you're most of the time you're fine. But thank God COVID was not as deadly as we thought it could be. Um, Honda Extreme says, "Do you have an exit plan in case of OMI fails or a max time limit that OMI?" Well, I mean, no, because yes, not an actual plan. I have a rough approach, some tactical goals, but no, I would think with OMI, it won't fail. We might be here a little early, but it won't fail. I'm more bullish on OMI than I was on Tesla, and I put my fortune in Tesla. I'm more bullish on OMI because of what it's attached to, and there is no other company like VV. Like, it's not like Tesla. Like, oh well, you know what, Tesla, we have all these other car companies that if they wanted to, they could make electric vehicles. Like, the threat of that, even though I knew it wasn't there, it was still kind of out there. Like, well, maybe Apple. I knew it wasn't there. Like, again, I can't even say that because there's no other competition. There was no competition for Tesla, and I still know that there is none. Because anyone else that's going to try, maybe they could make a car that's close to Tesla, but they're going to spend like 4x the amount of money for that car, so no one's going to buy it. Or they can make it as cheap as a Tesla, but it's like Tesla's going to blow them out of the water with their specs. Like, the range is going to be better, the safety measures are going to be better, and again, you want a safe car, and Teslas are the safest on the road. So moving on, what you said with OMI, I am more bullish on OMI than I am with Tesla, and I see that because it's not like there are even other companies out there. There aren't. There are no other companies doing what VV app is doing right now. There just aren't. Not what they're doing. You have NBA Top Shot that is kind of doing his thing for Chaz, but that's one thing. We have not NFL Players Association, MLB Players Association, and that's just with that. Like, not including Fast and Furious, all this nostalgia. Them going to Comic-Con. Once you're in Comic-Con, you're it. Like, you've made it. You're done. Like, that's it. You made it. Like, Schitt's Creek, when Stevie is talking to David, like, you've made it, David. Like, you have your husband, you have your business, you have like your family, you've made it. When you get invited to Comic-Con at that level, well, they've made it. And that is when you're going to see, again, I don't know when this is going to happen. Like I said, I'm risking my retirement on OMI, but I know I'm not really risking it because it's such a safe bet. I literally, like, I told my girlfriend, hey, don't buy this house. Instead, just rent over here and then just put it all into Bitcoin. And I know that'll go up. But if I would tell her to do that to OMI, I wish she would do that with OMI. But it's very hard to buy OMI. It's hard enough for her to buy Bitcoin. My friend Mark, same thing. It's hard enough for them to buy Bitcoin. Buy OMI is like, at this party that I was at, I was telling everybody, I was like, guys, you know what I've done in finance. I worked with a lot of these guys. Like, buy into this right now. They're like, yeah, I can't. And I told them with Earth 2 as well. And they're like, this sounds amazing. So I'm telling, like, and these guys are millionaires. Like, they're like, all right, like, getting in. And I already know people. I don't need to, like, you say that I know millionaires. We're like, there are a bunch of my subscribers on here that are millionaires, like multiple millionaires already. And they're so low key, they're so chill. But my exit strategy for OMI, like, if let's say I had kids, and let's say I have 10 million OMI, or let's say let's say 10 million OMI. Yeah, I have 9.5 or whatever, but let's say 10 million OMI. If I had kids, and then let's say this goes to 10 cents. Okay, 10 million. Okay, now that's at 10 million OMI, that's $1 million. At that point, when that goes to 10 cents, and that's, I think, later this year, but when that goes to 10 cents and that's $1 million, and if I had kids, I'm not going to blame anyone. No one's going to blame you if you take that money and say, like, listen, this is a guarantee. This is a house in the real world. This is a guarantee. I can send my kids to college. My kids need braces. My kids need milk, but whatever they need, I can understand that. But for me, like, no, I don't. I have the luxury to not be tied down by anything. Where, like I said, I'm going to put in over 100 grand as soon as this Trophy Kangaskhan sells. I might even just put it out for auction at some point because these prices for OMI are ridiculously low. They're stupid low. So I honestly, if someone offers me 250,000 for it right now, I would say yes. And the cheapest you can get it for on eBay, mine is 420, but everyone else is 495. $495,000 is the cheapest you can get it for on eBay if you want it right now. I'd sell it for 250 just because I know how explosive OMI is going to be. And out of that 250 grand, I would put 75 grand in Bitcoin, 125 grand in OMI, and I'll keep 50 grand left for taxes and bills and whatever. Because I'm that bullish on it. I'm that bullish on OMI. I'm that bullish on what it can do. I hope that answers your question. But exit strategy, I don't want to. Maybe if it reaches 10 cents and I have, let's say, 40 million at that time, okay, well, liquidate a quarter of that, and 10 million is $1 million. So if I liquidate 10 million of them, I have $30 million left, and I get $1 million. I could do that, but I wouldn't want to, because that I'm just robbing from my future self. Yeah, that's exit strategy. John Doe says, check out the whole East Coast between Los Angeles, San Francisco. There's great hills and forest cliffs between San Fran and Vancouver. Sino says, dude, my workmates call me crazy when I try to explain the simulation theory. Yeah, it's crazy that we could all be ones and zeros, and I feel like you also need to have a different type of intelligence to try to think like that we could be ones and zeros, and some people are just like, all right, yeah, this guy's weird. But that's why I like you guys too, because we're all kind of on the same page, where we talk about us being possibly of a simulation and AI, and actually AI it scares me, and we can talk about like our fears of artificial intelligence. Like that's one of the things that does keep me up at night, is like singularity. They could decide that humans are no longer needed. It's like, oh, well, fuck. Excuse my language. Sorry. This guy is at Honda Dream X says, thank you for your great answer. No problem, Honda Dream X. Sinai says, if you put 120K into OMI plus the 9.5 million you have, well, if it's, let's say 100 grand right now would be about 50 million OMI, give or take, if OMI is 0.002. So that would be about, yeah, so 50, oh wow, yeah, it's 50 million out of the 9.5 I have, so because I'd have 59 million. So if I were to do 102,000, no, I would need 120,000, and I'd have 69 million OMI. That'd be great. And again, I believe OMI gets to $1 by 2026. If it doesn't, it's, my God. That's so much money. Like, and that's the type of money I want. When Steve Irwin died, he was only worth $10 million, give or take. I want to be able to go and take this money and buy more wilderness areas than Steve Irwin was ever able to, and I want to donate all in his name, all in conservation. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with Jack Hanna's Animal Adventures. I grew up with San Diego Zoo and Jeff Korn Experience and Crocodile Hunter. I grew up with that stuff, and I love animals. So doing all this, I'm doing all of it. Yeah, it's all to get money, but it's specifically for that purpose. Could you imagine, like, and that's if I decide to cash out at what do you call it, at $69 million, but even let's say 50 million OMI, it's $1 at $50 million. That's $1. That's this decade. I guarantee, I will bet however much money you want me that it gets $1 before the end of the decade, because I say by 2026, but that's this decade, and that's me already being a deca millionaire. I mean, I know millionaire will come within the next couple of months, or not within the next 2 years easily, but probably within the next year or something. John Doe says, so the devs are going to use Easter GDEM version 3 for the map. John Doe, say that again. The devs are going to use Easter GDEM version 3 for the map. Not sure what that means. Satellite will be more accurate than map. Yeah, heat map? Yeah. Satellite will be more accurate than the map. Okay, I wonder why. That's maybe there's something to do with the coding or something to do with satellite being in real time. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if they're going to do any rendering as far as making updates to it, because I know some tiles are set a little differently, like based on the measurements of this truck and this van. They've shown that some tiles near the equator were a little bit either smaller or wider. They weren't just the standard 10 by 10. So I don't know if they actually fixed that yet or if they rendered that. John Doe says Aster GDEM 3 is the NASA terrain map. Oh, okay, all right. That's a little beyond me. I am not that smart as far as that goes. But yeah, that's what I love about other people. For the most part, I think, yeah, Earth 2 is the way that people can come together. And yes, if you want to make money, you can make money. But I see Earth 2 more as a people coming together and just playing games and having fun. Obviously, there's going to be a whole lot of money to be made there, and I'm glad. I believe what we have there is. I think this is gonna be seen as the Wild Wild West, because in 10 years' time, a lot of this land will be corporate land, and corporate places will be buying it and saying like, oh, it's virtual shopping mall, virtual here, virtual whatever, and there won't be too many places, too many people with actual land left, because there's going to be mass adoption. In my opinion, there's going to be mass buying spree, and out of all of that, it's just going to be seen as like, oh my God, you guys were able to get actual tiles. They're not even talking about prices. They're like, you guys were able to get tiles? You were there in the game when you could buy tiles? You can only rent them now. That's insane. I guarantee you that happens. And then us saying like, yeah, with these tiles, like, and I guarantee you at that time it'll be tiles are only being traded for as like people. I don't even know what. But again, there's only a finite amount of them. So the same as Pokemon cards, like, wow, you were there, you got these Pokemon cards, like, only a finite amount of them, and trade them and sell them, do whatever. But I guarantee you at some point, these tiles are just impossible to get, because they're going to be so wanted. It's my opinion. OMI homie Mike Jack says, since the new licenses have dropped, of your price predictions change for the end of the year, and when will it hit $1? So there is so much that's going to go into my price changes, and I will do an updated video, but it has to be on when OMI or on when Vivi decides how much OMI they're leaving on the table when they go to Immutable X, when they go from to Ethereum blockchain. If they decide to leave out 50 billion OMI, okay, they leave 50 billion OMI, and let's say they buy 25 billion, from the marketplace. And then, to replace that OMI in their app. Okay, so if they do that buyback, then now we don't have 168 billion OMI in the float. Now we only have 143 billion OMI in the float. Getting past underneath that 150 billion will be, that is a big psychological barrier for a lot of people. And that's something that I believe is going to go, once that happens, you're going to see more mass adoption. But right now, my price, without anything happening, homie, Mike Jack, my price is still 10 cents by the end of the year. And that's my base price. My bear price is 3 cents. 3 to 6 cents is my bear price. My base price is 10, but my bullish price, in best case scenario, I think 12 to 15 cents by the end of the year. Now, Taps Trades has done a thing about this, and this is what he does for a living. Actual cryptocurrency trading. He thinks that it could hit anywhere between 6 to 9 cents by September. But he also thinks that we're going to go into a crypto winter. So what he's going to do, I think, but he said that he thinks that OMI is going to reach 6 to 9 cents by September. And then he's going to sell a lot of it there because he thinks we're going to go into a big crypto freeze, a crypto winter. But I don't believe so. And the reason why I don't believe so is because there's an ETF placed for Bitcoin for October 28th. October 28th is the last day they have to approve or disapprove that Bitcoin ETF. And I guarantee you, I'm not guaranteeing, I can't just financial advice, but I'm literally betting that they will approve that. Once they approve that Bitcoin ETF, and I know St. Chavez, they've never approved a Bitcoin ETF before. Well, they've also never had very crypto-friendly people at the SEC, but now they do. Now they have a very crypto-friendly person at the helm of the SEC that's able to approve this Bitcoin ETF. And when that happens, if that does happen like I think it's going to, you're going to see mass adoption come in, hundreds of billions of dollars coming in to the crypto market in general, and OMI's just going to ride the wave. And we're not going to have a crypto winter. I believe it's a super cycle. and the summer just won't end. So if that does happen, Taps Trades has not accounted for that. He's actually gone on and said he would have to, or I don't think he's actually, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he's only accounting 6 to 9 cents by September. He's not accounting for October, November, December because he thinks we're going into that crypto winter, which I don't think we are. I think super cycle because of that Bitcoin ETF. So if that does change and that it does come to fruition, what I think it's going to do, then he does have to change it because his model is only geared towards September, and then he thinks things are going to fall off, take a 70-80% haircut as they would in normal crypto winter, which is normal. But if it doesn't, if that Bitcoin ETF gets approved and this is a super cycle, he has to change that. So I'm very curious to see what he says with that. Sinok says, if you have 70 million OMI, you could possibly take a trip to space. Seriously though. Yeah. So I mean, if I get, if I can sell this card right now for $250,000, I would, which is literally $245,000 off. Like that's the cheapest you can get. Mine is on eBay for $420, but the cheapest outside of that is $495,000. So if somebody's coming in to buy $250, I'll say yes right now, just so I can go and buy OMI at these prices. I don't care. I'll take that $200,000, not loss. I only paid 80 grand for it, but I'll take that hit. And I don't care if that happens. And then 2 days later, somebody else sells it for, 400,000, whatever. I'll take that loss because, that missed out gain, because I know what OMI is going to do. I know betting 100 grand on this is going to make me a deca millionaire. If not, like I said, if this is by the end of the decade, which is only 10 years, I think this goes to $1 by 2026. And that'd be $50 million, $60 million, whatever for me. But if it goes to $2 by 2030, I think it's going to go to $3 by 2030, just my opinion. That's $100 million. It's $100 million. That is 9 figures. That is so many wilderness areas. That is so many. I can literally save. I can try to help save the planet. We could try to help, and that's. I understand other people have their own things they have families to take care of. I am somewhat like I'm in a position where I'm not tied down by anything. I can take that money. I can literally try to save the world. I can try to save the world, at least for these animals, at least for these places, that endangered species. You can literally, that is world-changing money. Yes, with a couple $100,000, you could change the world for some people. You could, change the lives of these people. For millions of dollars, yeah, you could probably do that as well. But I have $100 million to go into, and again, I could put that all into conservation, which most of it probably would be. But at that point, I'd have to take a very hard look at what is the right way to go about spending money. And again, if you put $100,000, yeah, I believe OMI does go to multiple dollars. That makes you $100 millionaire. I don't know. Again, that's such a big responsibility. I have a hard enough time right now where people have my name tattooed on them, like the real end. I was like, oh wow, that's a lot. So it's been 2.5 hours. So let me give another Patreon member shout out. I don't know what I'll do. All right, I'm just gonna do one of my favorites. It's sorry girl, but you missed out. Well, tough luck, that boy's mine now. We are more than just good friends. This is how the story ends. Yeah, so shout out to my Patreon members. Yeah, so change the world. Yeah, and going to space, going to Mars. I can't wait for that. I want to go to Mars. I want to. That's the forefront. I mean, we're the forefront. We're the pioneers of NFTs, of virtual real estate, virtual reality, and it's so cool to be able to be in a time that we're alive for this. And I feel bad for our parents and our grandparents. They don't understand it. They're not gonna live. I also feel bad for our kids. We were born in the last, anyone that's around my age, late 20s, early 30s. We were the last generation of kids to be able to go outside and not have internet and go on and say, like, okay, don't come home until street lights come on. Any younger than that, and you really don't have that anymore. You have, became the helicopter parent. Became, latchkey kids are no longer a thing. Latchkey kids are when you had a key you wore it around your necklace because you had to let yourself in to home because mom and dad were working. You didn't see that in, after that in the 2000s. That kind of ended in the 90s. But so I feel bad for younger kids because they didn't experience what was like beforehand, and I feel bad for our parents because most of our parents aren't really in this. They're not. They can kind of understand it maybe, and if they do, great, more power to them. But I know my parents aren't. But my dad didn't even know what Bitcoin was until a few months ago. It's like, oh my god, So to try to explain what an NFT is, like, it just impossible. You can't. So I feel bad for a bunch of older people, but we're so lucky in the generation we're in, being able to be the forefront, the pioneers of this, of the internet, and then now seeing the internet 2.0. We're seeing virtual reality, NFTs, and we're deciding where it goes. And that's a big responsibility, and that's something that's changing culture. I love stories where I read articles written by this dad saying, like, I could not stand that One Direction band my daughter was always listening to. Her and her friends, like, they made this club, they made, the whole thing, and he said somewhere along the line, he noticed that he was proud of them because a local radio station, I think in Australia, was not playing one of their songs on One Direction, one of their songs. They just weren't playing it. And they had lobbied, they got enough girls in their grade, in their school, whatever, to lobby the radio station, like, no, play the song. And then they did. And he said, like, that's important because you're changing culture. And at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want entertainment. They want culture. They want to experience things. Like, yes, be a good person. Yes, make money. But also, at the end of the day, you just want to have friends and just be cool with people. And I remember also, one thing that I do remember good from like, I had read a book on, like, Sandy Koufax because I was in baseball when I was younger. And on a question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was like, oh, who this pitcher did this, and what? And I was like, oh, Sandy Koufax. And then my mom says, oh, that's something he should be remembering. And I was like, and I started thinking, like, why? Why is that important? And then I remember, well, that's just a part of culture. And when people are changing culture, back in the day, like, that's what you listen to on the radio, that's what it was. That was culture. And for better or for worse, a lot of parents go and ask your parents. For kids that are my age, like, hey, what was it like when the Beatles first came out? Or your grandparents, what was it like when the Beatles first came out? And they say, like, well, I guarantee you they say, my parents hated them. They were destroying music. If you go to Elders React, when they react to Elvis, they go and they say, like, oh, my parents hated Elvis. The world was going to hell in a handbasket when Elvis was, like, every bad thing I did, they blamed on Elvis. And, he's so mild now. But it's the... I love being in a place where we can dictate, and now that everyone has a voice, everyone can upload to YouTube. If they want to talk about something, let's go to YouTube, and you can talk about something, and you can find a community. If nobody's talking about what you want to talk about, go and talk about it. Not to make money. I didn't do this. I started this channel just because nobody was talking about Pokemon sales data. That was it. I wanted to talk about that, and I knew there were people like me. I knew there was, like, I could just find a place for people to talk, and we did, and it was great. And it's just how it evolves, and I love that so much with our culture. Sinai says, I'll donate when OMI hits $1. When OMI hits $1, well, we're gonna be worth a lot. I can't wait until this card sells, and I solidify. Right now, that future Chavez doesn't exist because I don't have that OMI. I only have 9.5 million OMI. When I sell that card, if I can get it at this price, and I can get 30, 40 million OMI, 50 million OMI, yes, that is something that I believe that brings future Chavez into fruition, of that someone that's potentially worth $100 million in the future. Because again, even if it takes to 2040, okay, I'm 50 years old at that point. That's not old anymore. Back in the day when we were kids, when you were 40, you were, like, dead. Like, you were 40, it's just... but nowadays, like 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds, we have common ground to talk about different things. I worked with 40-year-olds, like especially in the military, but now like because things change, so we are much more easily adaptable now than our parents are. Our parents like, oh my God, this one thing of technology. But now new things of technology come out, and we play with them. We ourselves play with them. So yeah, don't let technology pass you by. That because you're doing yourself harm. You are doing yourself a disservice if you let technology pass you by. Where's my Courier? It says, are there any OMI out there, i.e. tokens that are this cheap that have a lot of potential? No, I don't. And maybe there are. Maybe there are some things that have that potential for mass adoption, and I just don't know what they are yet. But the fact that this is this cheap, being attached to this company, I guarantee you in 5 years, people will be like, how did I not know about this? It's because they weren't looking for it. They were like, in hindsight is 2020, but they weren't looking for this amount of space. They weren't looking for this type of investment. Or maybe they were and they just missed it. They say, okay, VV collectibles, and they go and somebody tells them to look at VV. All right, yeah, the NFTs, what's so special about it? Okay, not only are the NFTs special is because it's the first of their kind, it's disruptive, but the OMI, oh my God, yeah, the NFTs in general are very, very disruptive and are just, I guarantee you, those are collectors. Me and my friends, I was at the party I was just at, a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds talking about the old school 90s action figures. And how, like, oh, Wolverine, you press this and his claws come out. Talking about collectibles, because that's what we did when we were younger. Guarantee you that's exactly what these NFTs are now. NFTs are now what 90s, because you don't have to worry about them storing or them breaking or whatever. They're automatically there. And doing augmented virtual reality is just so cool. And to be able to do that with your kids is, I think, is amazing. So yeah, I don't think any other coin out there has the potential that OMI does. Because of what it's attached to. Every other thing, let's say like SafeMoon, they want to be attached to a video game. They want to be attached, but it's all speculative. Like Doge isn't attached to anything right now. I never got into Doge. I never got into Shiba or SafeMoon or Shiba Elon or Elon Doge, whatever, because they're not attached to anything. Yeah, a bunch of these poop coins you can 10x because when the pump, and then you sell them hopefully before the dump. But I would never tell anyone to invest in those products. Never tell my friends to invest in that because it's not safe. This is something that I feel is 100% safe, but nothing's 100% safe. I have to say that, but nothing has this much upside that I can tell that is this safe. Nothing has this much upside with this amount of safety attached to it. It just doesn't, and people are sleeping on it right now because they don't know about it. But again, once San Diego Comic-Con comes around next month, and you see, again, it's going virtual, but once you go to San Diego Comic-Con, once you're in there virtually, you're in nerd culture forever. This will be ingrained to nerds everywhere. Doctor Who nerds, it is going to be ingrained to everyone's culture because of San Diego Comic-Con, even though it's virtual. Even though it's virtual, you don't know this. Some people don't know this, but I do. I've been to New York Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, Dragon Con, Georgia. I've been all the major big ones. Multiple times. San Diego and New York go back 1 and 4. They're like the biggest each year. I think San Diego was the biggest last time they had it. But they're so big, they're so massive. Once VV goes there and they're just doing virtual this year, it's gonna be insane. I can't wait for it. Moving on. Nimba Creation said, "Hey, good morning. Honda Dream X but isn't it possible that VV switched from OMI to another token because it doesn't do as good as they thought?" No. What VV is doing, they're switching the blockchain that they're on. They're going from the Go chain switching to the Ethereum immutable blockchain, and they're doing that just because it's cleaner. Or I don't know if they had a falling out with but regardless of what chain they're on, they're always going to use OMI token. That is in their tokenomics. That's attached to their business. So they're always going to have that. They're always going to have that'll never change. If they wanted to change that, they would have, because when they had made 750 billion at the start, and they were continually making it, they locked away 94 billion of the OMI. We can't access that for 1,000 years. Okay, well, so if they wanted to restart it, they would have restarted it, but they didn't. So this is what they're sticking with, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And this is why I love the channel too. I love the channel because you guys have some really good questions. You have some good content, and it makes me think about the future. I might have to go, well, my battery's only at 15%, but I think I can move you over there. Let's see where I can go. Uh-huh. Okay, yes. I think this can work. Put you over there, and then I put a... Nope, not that. Okay. Let's see where we go here. Hopefully I can... Oop. Breaking out the tasers. Breaking out the tasers and putting this underneath. Oh, you guys can see me from there, so that's fine. I don't need to look all pretty for y'all. Tasers be damned with. But that's why I love the channel. That's why I love talking with people. I love you guys. Next question. JKillXRP says, I'm bullish on OMI, TVK, and NetVark. I'm not sure what TVK is. So I definitely do have to go look at that. But or NetVark as well. I don't know what any of those are, but I will definitely take a look. I feel like I'm Zordon, Power Rangers, like Alpha, assemble a team of teenagers with attitude. Yes, Zordon. Psynox says, I will download my consciousness and merge with AI and hodl OMI for 100 years. Wow. I don't know how much. I'm only thinking, even years ahead, thinking, $1 when that happens. That's still this decade. Again, my opinion, but that's still this decade. Who knows what's going to happen in 100 years? AI could decide that humanity is not worth saving, and AI can just literally wipe us out. I literally, like the singularity, what happens with artificial intelligence decides that humans are a cancer and they wipe us out because the earth doesn't need us. We need the earth, but the earth does not need us. Like, the earth is a living organism. And where do you see a lot of people, like a lot of these major cities, they look like cancer. And well, what happens? Well, the earth tries to recover. It tries to throw an earthquake at it. It's an immune system. It tries to throw a hurricane at it. But it doesn't matter. This cancer that is people, like, keeps repopulating. And I don't want to say that because people are good. A lot of people are good. But if you're going along with AI and you're thinking that, okay, well, if AI thinks a certain way, and well, the earth doesn't need humans. Maybe some dogs need humans now, and but cats are still hunters mostly. Yeah, I want to keep, and that's why I also want to get. I want all this money going to dogs as well, and cats, because I feel like men don't get a lot of they don't get a lot of physical touch. So that's why there's a whole Reddit subreddit called Dads Who Did Not Want Pets, because I was like, I don't want this freaking animal in my house, whatever. And then they realize that what happens 2 weeks later. Well, the dad and the pet are best friends, because that pet gives love to the dad. Where I feel like men don't get enough love, and a consequence of that is a lot of men are shut off. A lot of men are incels. A lot of men are whatever. But if you get more pets into people's homes, I think men can become better husbands, become better sons, become better, just better people. So essentially, when you're helping animals, I think you're helping humans as well. Just my thought. Homie Mike Jack says, imagine a Tom Holland Spider-Man. If we got Dragon Ball, I wouldn't know. So I'm pretty positive that we have Marvel. I'm pretty positive that we have Star Wars. I'm pretty positive that we have Pokemon. I am pretty positive that we have Dragon Ball. But they're just not going to announce it right now, because they, again, when that happens, oh my good golly gosh. But again, at the most recent video that they did, they used Captain America in one of their slides, in one of their conferences. Okay, well, they're not going to use that and then maybe get sued by Marvel. They're only going to use that if they have licenses. Again, just my opinion, but that's most likely what is going on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure they do have all these other things that we're talking about. And yeah, I'm gonna poop myself as well. Like, I can't wait to poop myself with excitement. Honda Dreamer says, are you holding your OMI also on the Vivi wallet, or have you moved them to a hard wallet? I only have them on the Trust wallet. right now. I do it with Ari Realty. I send him Bitcoin and he buys the OMI for it because for whatever reason on my cell phone it doesn't let me do it. But now I have the what do you call it? Our realty, he gets it for me and he puts it right into a trust wallet for me. I give him like $10 per transaction because he earns it. It's paying for his time more than anything, and honestly, his time more than yeah. It's I but also because he does that because we well the more he does that for me, the more we can do in our realty company next year, and the more we can do for the world. So yeah, we do it for each other because we know between both of our minds, I think we could really help change the world. I think all of us here, again, if that's what some people just like, they just want to collect. And this was a gift. So this Deadpool on a scooter, like this is why I love. I got this at an internal con where I was just cosplaying as Deadpool, and someone just get like, "Oh my god, I love you, I love it," like because I was just being a good Deadpool, and it's like, and it gave me this, and I get gifts all the time like that, and I have them here somewhere. All the gifts that I've gotten that I've received when I was cosplaying, and just yeah, it's so much fun. So that's what San Diego Comic Con. Nobody knows what that means. Like, there's only a few of us that know exactly what that means, just for the culture. There's gonna a bunch of people that are gonna try to speculate on the price. Yeah, oh, what that might do for the price, but some of us know if you get invited to San Diego Comic Con like that and you're part of people's experience, you're part of it forever. You're part of it forever, and it's just no one can take that away. Um, Sonic says you create the first AI, you control the world, e.g., save all the animals, create an AI company, Randy. Well, I'm not smart enough to make an AI company because I don't code, so I wouldn't know how to code it. What I would know how to do is to be able to gauge people's hearts. Like Lex Friedman, I don't know how much he's worth now. I would love to put everyone should go listen to Lex Friedman and tell him Randy Chavez sent you. You don't have to, but he's just so he's the one that preaches like love. Says like, hey, give the people and what I say to haters when the haters are always like, giving me grief for whatever reason. Like, hey, I think you guys just need a hug. Because again, if you try to say bad things about people, most likely it's because you just haven't had a good life or people haven't been kind to you. And maybe if you get shown a little bit of kindness, maybe you won't be as bad. That's what Lex Friedman tries to not impose on people. That's just what he tries. Good positive thoughts. Um, but yeah, with this much money, world changing money, it's so much. I never thought I would even consider having. Again, just being a kid from Peru. I never thought I would. Never thought I'd get this far. Like, if you were to ask my mom, like my actual birth mom, for those that don't know, I was adopted, but my birth mom, God, imagine saying like, "Hey, hope yeah, made you proud." Probably wouldn't understand anything. Again, from Peru, but I don't think anyone that knew me like when I was born would ever think that this was possible. Yeah, you're coming. Yeah, you may, but anyone ever think a kid from Peru, literally born in the dirt with no roofs on their houses, no, like the judge is drunk, somewhere. So me getting adopted was just almost impossible. Like my story getting to America, my the people that adopted me, they couldn't have kids, and my mom's sister had two kids already, and I think she was trying to compete with her sister, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna adopt one like from Peru, and it almost didn't happen because um, when they got there, they had to actually change my birthday. My real birthday is December 15th, 1990, but what they had to do is they had to change my birthday because on my birth certificate it actually says December 22nd, and for everything, because if they would have had it remain the 15th, I wouldn't have been eligible for adoption. So they had a judge backdate it by a week. So like, oh, my birthday is the 22nd now. I wasn't in existence that week, and that was really cool. So the fact that I'm here in America, one, that being born is so impossible, and that we're all here at the same time. Just the odds of that are insane. So got to be thankful we're all here right now. And then yeah, the fact that we're all here talking about OMI, like what brought that's what I love people. I love taking out people for drinks. Like, hey, you're a human. How did you get here? Like, what's like? How did you get here? What's your story? Well, what do you think the way you think? Let me strip you down. Let me 14% battery. I'm trying to conserve this, but I should go to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. This is my longest stream ever. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy it. I like talking to everyone, but I like talking to people, getting to know them. I like if people want to ask me anything. Like I also like it because I think I'm a relatively cool guy or a decent guy, and if people can say like, hey, well, this guy, what he can do with his money, is he out buying like a Lambo? No. Is he? Well, will I get a Tesla? Yeah, sure, um, but no, what he wants to do with his money, and if I could be an example to like other people's kids, like, hey, listen, this guy literally came from nothing. And he didn't. Let's say if you're not smart, like I didn't go to college. I have 1 semester of community college under my belt, and I did it just through sheer hard work alone. And they say like, okay, you can be like him. You don't need to go to this fancy school to be a millionaire or be successful. You don't need to do any of that. You can just work and grind and yes, get lucky. And when you get lucky, if you're working hard, you can have the opportunity to get lucky a little more often. Um, but even after the military, I had a couple grand in my name. I didn't have a lot of money to invest, but I threw everything I had into these high risk lending deals because I saw what they were. I saw the value in them and that my money is safe. And I had the lowest default rate. And again, go to one of my most recent videos. It has a picture of a Tesla Kilo bottle, and it's basically me back patting myself for all my accomplishments. Honda Extreme says, "Amazing story. Thank you for sharing with us." Yeah, no problem. I love it. Just because it reminds one, it keeps you humble. It's like, okay, well, listen, we're all nothing special. We're all here because our parents decided to bump uglies at this one time. It just happened. So we're nothing special. And even I've had clients that are worth 9 figures, which potentially some of us might be. If I know some people on here, they have 100 million OMI. Some people on here will, if they're not 100 millionaires, billionaires already, they will be already. But people, they're just people. Like people, when even my clients that were worth 9 figures, they're just people, and some of them are not happy. Like some of them, they're like, yeah, they didn't have a great relationship with their kids. Some of them did suffer from addiction, and money doesn't make you happy. But if you can just say like, hey, Randy Chavez, what he did, what he's doing, he can continue to do. If you can draw inspiration from that, and at least and he's still good. Like, I want to be if I don't remember Scrubs, where that one time where Dr. Cox, like, they had a transplant patient. A guy came in. All of his organs went to like 6 other different people. But what they didn't find out was if they had waited like a week later or something, or it's nothing that they could have handled, but the guy had something in his system where every single organ that went out to like 6 other patients, they all died. And Dr. Cox is just like at the end of it, he's like, no, he's like screaming, he's like, God, like, God damn it. And JD goes to him at the end of the episode. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, for Scrubs, it's been out like 20 years. And he says like, listen, some people keep cool heads, some people don't let it affect them, but the fact that you've been in this field for 20, 30 years and you still take it this hard, that's the type of doctor I want to be. And I don't want to let money affect me. It hasn't yet. It hasn't. Like, I mean, maybe in the fact that like maybe I don't look at food prices the same on like menus. If I go to like a Friendly's. I even remember a meme. There was this one like Asian kid, and he started. The meme was like, to order off the menu without having to look at the prices. That is what it means to be successful. And I was like, yes. And for a while for me that was. And yeah, if I could be a good inspiration to people, I'm gonna try to do it. Investivus for the rest of us said, dude, you remind me of Lex Friedman. Oh, I love Lex Friedman. Um, yeah, he's the one that again so much smarter than me, is in better. He's like I think just the better version of me. He's just got a better hairline. He's in better shape than I am, um, and he's just smarter. But again, he can only reach so many people, and if he can't reach some people, I don't know how you. It's so impossible to dislike him. And in that same breath, I hope it's impossible to dislike me. I hope the way people, after everything's said and done, let's say after a while, let's say I cash out of just 10 million, whatever, and I get 10 million. Let's say I have 50 million OMI and I cash out 10 million for 10 million. I'm a decamillionaire now. I have that cash. Well, I don't expect there to be no other investments for me out there. I'll tell people, like, well, all right, this is what I'm doing. Um, for a while, I wanted to do that with Pokemon cards. Thank you guys for 30 likes. I want to do that with Pokemon cards to tell people with money, like, these are the Pokemon cards I would invest in. And if that's what you're into, if you already have money in other places and you want to invest in Pokemon cards, I wanted to make a fund, like an ETF fund. Like, make me the manager of your money. I will buy these cards and I will guarantee you that they go up in price. And I'll still do that for people. If you have $100 million and you want to give me 5 million of it to manage, and to just buy Pokemon cards, I will do that, and I guarantee you returns. I guarantee you that what you have can't be gotten again. Like my Trophy Kangaskhan card, it kills me to sell that because you could only get that in Japan of 1990. It's not a card that you could find in like, oh, I had one of those. No, it's impossible because it was only given out in May of 1998. And why this card is so special to me is because it's a parent-child tournament. And there were it was ubiquitous enough, Pokemon, even in 98, obviously that was the whole craze, but where parents got involved and you had to win a certain amount of parent-child battles in order to be awarded this card in May of 1998 in Japan. So there were only like 100 handed out, only 42 are graded, or 44 are graded in the world, and only 11 are PSA 10. And why that's so special to me is because my dad, my mom, they were never like that. They were never into video games. They didn't understand Pokemon. They didn't understand that. So the fact that me having that card, and I can, in my mind, view a scenario where, let's say, I have a dad that played Pokemon with me, that played, and was able to have that with, like, oh, me and my, like, that would be a dream. That is kids' dreams. Like, going to battle with your Pokemon cards with your dad at your side. That is so heckin' cool. So in my mind, yeah, I make up this universe. I make up this spot where me and my dad are going 1998 and we're versing everyone else and we're winning and he's doing this card and it's just um and to have that, like I can envision that. And when I sell that card, that's gonna hurt. Because of how much I love that card, how much it means to me, how much a lot of these Pokemon cards are. But I'm doing it because the potential upside of going to OMI and then that going again, I'm confident in doing that. I'll take the emotional hit. Like everything I've done is just so I can get more money, so I can get more animals saved. Yeah, it's worth it in my opinion. Um, Synox saying I'm the GOAT after Elon Musk. Thank you, Synox. Omi homie Mike Jack says good night, Omi homies. Synox said, "What's the red circle, man?" Omi homie Mike. The red circle is just what a lot of Omi holders we have there. Keith Smith says Ari Realty has some big haters. He does, but Ari Realty makes it work for him. So Synox, that red circle, everyone. I think I even have it on Twitter now, as part of our name, just trying to bring relevance to. I can't, the red circle. If you can't tell, I came from a party. Ooh. Omi homie, Omi homie. Someone make this a meme or something like that. Don't do it. My hair looks awful. Everything looks awful. Yeah, I'm at such an awkward angle. But yeah, for our Omi homies. Yeah, Ari Realty has some haters, but more power to him. He's making money. He's doing his thing. But Ari Realty is more. He's just a cool dude, and he's very. Again, you can't go to dinner with him. Like I would love it. I can't wait to invite all these haters out to dinner, and I like treat them to it because one, I feel like, again, if you're trying to attack someone that's trying to do good in this world, that's trying to be successful and have others be successful as well, if you're trying to attack that, then you're just something's wrong. Like something happened to you that you're taking others that are trying to do a good thing and you're trying to tear them down. Something happened to you, and we need to find out why. We need to find out why that happened to you, why you're acting this way, and we need to like make it better. Like what happened to you? So we like what is it? Were you not hugged enough? Were you not were you held too much, or maybe you weren't held enough, or whatever it was that made you this way to be angry against people that are trying to do good in the world and trying to take other people. So we need to like try to bring them in and make us realize that we're all good people. Um, it's the Akomi Vive community symbol. Yep. Sinox says, I'm gonna get some. Uh, gonna get some what? Red circle? Sinox? Wait, what are you saying? Yeah. Yeah. If you're going about getting some, yeah, Omi's for me it's the most potential upside. Like if I had a choice right now, like if I had to wager everything on what I think would go has the most upside. Like gun to my head right now, what has the most upside right now? They can invest in Omi. Omi. Like it's not Bitcoin, it's not Tesla, it's not Pokemon cards, it's not anything else. It is Omi. That is the safest thing. Like you could make the argument, okay, well maybe there's one of these poop coins that shoots up, 100x and then it goes down, 100x the same day. That's not something that's viable. That's not something that you can constantly repeat. That's something that's not attached to a real product, but Omi is. And again, gun to my head right now, I would tell everyone that they can to invest in it. Again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think I've said that about 100 times throughout this 3 hour. I've been going for 3 hours, so I haven't seen um, this. Yeah, that gun to my head that Omi would be the best. But if you're a little cautious, like maybe you don't understand collectibles and you don't understand, like, okay, just get Bitcoin, get Ethereum, get Solana, get CRO, get Cardano, get Binance, they're good quality coins. So if you don't want to get Omi because it doesn't have too much of a track yet, okay. If you want to wait for it to get established a little more and you want to wait for it, sure, wait for it. I think that's a little foolish, but that's just my opinion. Um, I've had some really weird hallucinations. I think I see things but also I feel like also why do we only get ghosts from like old timey stuff? Why do we only get ghosts from like murders? Like why don't we get ghosts from people that are just happy? Like why don't we get ghosts from like grandmas that just want to like cook pastries for their grandkids? Like if I were to be a ghost, I don't know. I would just well, I guess you everyone would want to go to their family and be like, hey, I'm still here, so watching you guys grow up. But I don't know if I could be a helpful ghost. Yeah, maybe ghosts that could like, there's this biker. I don't want to call them biker gang, motorcycle club, where they go and they sit with like kids that are like facing their accuser like the night before. They go and like they protect the kids of the house. They're just a bunch of like go try to like honestly like if you I had a couple of friends tell me that their parents would say, "Hey, if you're ever in trouble, if you're ever lost, find a cop or find a biker." They're very, very helpful, and they get a bad reputation as well. Like bikers are some of like the biggest sweethearts that are just again some of them some of what they do can be a little hardcore, but they're just big sweethearts. All out of them, they just they're goofy and they'll do anything for their kids. Like they'll do anything for their kids. They yeah, they're big goofy dads. And one Kenobi says, "I got 10 million Omi. Looking forward to it hitting a penny." Oh my god. I'm sorry, that's 10 cents. Wow. So, and one Kenobi, if you have 10 million Omi right now, when it reaches 10 cents, you're a millionaire. I don't know if you're a millionaire now, but if you're not, you will be when that reaches 10 cents. But that's if you decide to sell. If you decide to sell that, then you're a millionaire. But you could decide not to sell, and again, there will be peaks and valleys. It can go to 10 cents, then go right back down to 2. But I know where this is going. I know in my mind, I've seen this before. In the future, it's going to go and be worth a lot of money. So that's why I'm very, very bullish on it. Hey, Xana, what's going on? Bitcoin and Omi to the moon. Yeah. So and that's what I love to see as well. I've had people on here that have followed me since the Pokemon days, that have made so much money. Like I say, hey, I'm investing in Tesla. They do, and well, now they have a lot of money. Pokemon cards, like my first Patreon member, this guy Eli, has Pokemon at Tesla. I'm pretty sure he has OMI now. He's going to be a millionaire because he followed me. He's going to make his life better. His life is going to be is changing for the better because of me, and that's what I love also. If I can be a good impact on people's lives and help them, let's say, help them get more time with their kids, because that's what kids love. Thank you guys for 35 likes. Yeah, what do kids want? Kids just want to spend time with their parents. They do. Like when they're kids, they want to spend time with mom and dad. And be advised, guys, that only lasts for so long. I've been around enough teenagers. I've been around enough. My friends have teenagers now, and if you're, enjoy them. Teens do not care about your feelings. Teens do not care about your feelings at all. And then they turn 20, 25, and then they love you again. But yeah, teens care so little about other people's feelings. It is but you have to learn that. And first times parents, it might hurt them a lot. First time parents, and you say like, hey, you want to talk about something, and the kid's like, I don't care. Oh, okay, well, fucking my God, let me go fuck myself then. Excuse my language. Um, but kids will say that because kids that's just what they are at that time, and you can't take it personally. That's just what kids are. Kids are just in general mean, and kids just so yeah. Don't. But if I can, any advice I can give is also some people that followed me or that just started following me, to say like, okay, well, this guy is kind of like a rich guy. Maybe he's a 1%er. One, I'm not. I don't think I am yet. I think for 1% you have to make $400,000 a year, net $400,000 a year, which I might at the end of this year if if OMI does what I think it's going to do and Bitcoin does what I think they're going to do, but definitely in the next few years I will be. But also people's line of focus are wrong, because if you go up based on the 1%, yes, in America that's $400,000 a year. But if you go and say like, well, what's the 1% of the world? 1% of the world, if you make $30,000 a year, you're in the 1%. Are you suddenly a bad person because now you're in the 1%? No, it's just your field of vision. It was so isolated. Like people, and that's what the military did for me. It allowed me to see other places. Like, okay, wow, this is really different, and not everyone has. I'm so thankful to be in America. Oh my God, yeah, being in the military, going to other places. You are so thankful to be back in America. Um, Other places can, we have some like this woke, some people saying like, oh, America's so bad, I'm gonna go to, like, okay, I don't see other people trying to escape capitalism. No, they escape communism, they escape socialism, they don't escape capitalism, they come to find it. Yeah, that's but they'll, people will learn as that goes on, I hope. I forget what I was talking about beforehand. Bitcoin over to dollar. Oh, Signox says, I truly hope it stays at this price till the end of the year. I hope it does too, for people that haven't gotten in yet, but I don't think it will. Edwin Cano says, how far do you think till my 10 million can make $1 million? Well, if you have 10 million OMI, I think by the end of the year this reaches 10 cents, and that makes $1 million. But even if it doesn't, ghosts. Sorry, but even if it doesn't, next year definitely. Going into 2022, I think it's going to be 20 cents, per OMI. But even if it's only 10 cents, okay, now you're a millionaire a year later. Again, I don't know what that does for you, does for your family, but that's what I also wanted too. I wanted to see that people spending time with their kids, more memories being created. Like when you have that, you have healthier kids, you have healthier adults, you help the world. And also, I think people they don't give enough credit. Like, again, we're all just people, and a lot of the people, like even millionaires, multimillionaires, 10 decamillionaires that I've known, they want at the end of the day is just to pass on what they know. They want to pass on, like my friend Dan, millionaire, when I met him, he took me under his wing, says like, hey, we think alike, I like you, and taught me what all he wanted to do is just teach. Just wants to teach. He doesn't expect. He's never asked me like, hey, I taught you a lot. Can you kick some back my way? He's never asked for anything like that. But I would have no issue if he did, because I owe most of my financial success to him. Yes, I was born lucky. I was born with a decent brain, and I was born with a body where I can make It's very hard to get in the military because you have to have 83 IQ or above. I'd be in physical shape. You can go to. It's easier to get into college than it is to get into the military. So you can be fat and go to college. You can have allergies and go. You can have Down syndrome and go to college. You can be, 80, whatever. But it's hard. But so I recognize I was lucky with a lot of things. Being born like as physically fit as I can be. A decent body. And now obviously the military kind of destroyed a lot of that because my back hurts, my knees hurt, and even sitting here right now I'm standing right now and it's awful. Yeah, I like that. I I like what this can do, and I think this can, and I think what Earth 2 will do as well is knock down all of these barriers that people have. They think, oh, the evil 1%. No, we're all just people. And if you don't believe me, watch Boat Lift. Boat Lift was about a small documentary made around 9/11, but not how you think. Wasn't no conspiracy theories there, no anything else, and not that I'm saying that there aren't some certain things that shouldn't be investigated. Some things should be investigated, but this is just about how New York, like Manhattan, is an island. Manhattan is an island, and for the first time in 100 years, the only way on or off the island was by boat. Tunnels and bridges were shut down. So after 9/11, what happened was all these people with all these boats came out that could carry people. It wasn't, you didn't care about class, you didn't care about color, you didn't care about what, it was taking one group of Americans from one place that's potentially very dangerous to another place that's safe. And if there's anything that I can show you that we're all just humans, we're all just people, go watch that documentary. It's like 11 minutes with Tom Hanks, and he narrates how, like, the best part about it was that he said everybody helped each other. Everyone was helping. At that time, you're just American. You're just people trying to help each other because it's a natural disaster. We didn't know exactly what it was at that time. Internet wasn't really a thing. Like, the internet, like, was not a big thing in 2001. Like, not as you can't just send a text, you can't like upload like, oh, what's going on in Snapchat, what's going on TikTok. That wasn't available. YouTube wasn't around then. YouTube was not around in 2001. I don't even know what websites were around in 2001, but not a lot of them. And yeah, it was, that's what I think. We're all just trying to live the same life. And I think Earth 2 will help break down a lot of those barriers. Kevin says, yes. What were you? I was Air Force. Anwar Kenobi says, hoping to stake and get passive income. Okay, so that's what you mean. So, Anwar, yeah, if you're able to stake with this, which I believe you'll not be able to do just with OMI, but I think the NFTs you're going to be able to stake with as well. But if you can stake with, oh, God. Right now, you get 6% if you stake with Ethereum. Like, you hold your Ethereum there, like, so if you have $100,000 and you stake with Ethereum, okay, you're making $6,000 a year. Like, if I told my friend Tyler, I was like, listen, you have a house, I would, like, I'm telling him, like, this was financial advice to my friend Tyler, like, hey, if you're able to take out a home equity line of credit, or like whatever, of $100,000 and you're only paying 3% on it, buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum and stake with Ethereum, you're making 6%. So yeah, you're paying 3%, but you're making 6%. So it's a no-brainer. That's just free money. I mean, could I have said, hey, Tyler, take out a $100,000 home equity line of credit and buy OMI? Sure. And probably by the end of the year, he could own his house. Pay that off, and yeah, but that's just being saved. Like, we were just talking, he already has other stuff in Ethereum, he's got the stuff in whatever. I was like, yeah, do that. Kevin says, if I could, I would honestly put my entire 401k into this because it would honestly just double or even triple. I didn't have a retirement. Like, when I was in the high risk lending business and people were saying, like, start putting into 401k, start putting in 401k, I was like, all right, well, first off, Carl, like, 6 months ago, you were telling me that I wasn't even going to be successful, that I didn't have the ability to read these finance charts because I only had one semester of community college, which you thought was, like, worthless. He's like, yeah, so 6 months ago, you didn't think I was going to be successful. Now you're going to tell me to take what to do with my profits? Get the fudge out of here, Carl. Um, and yeah, I would never put into a 401k because 401k, what do you get? If you put in the S&P 500, you get 9 to 11% each year, which is good. And this is why classic investing is so dead. Is because based on that type of investing, if you have 12 to 15% gains per year, you are considered like a god. Most of those people that can do that in the market, they work for Warren Buffett. But now that can be done so quickly with crypto, and a lot of these dinosaurs, they don't get it. A lot of the old guard, some of them will get it, and the ones that are adapting will thrive, and the ones that are not adapting, they will die. That's why I've said it before when I was covering Tesla. If you are not 100% going in on electric vehicles, you're not going to survive. You are not going to survive the 2020s. You're not going to survive the decade. You're either going to be eaten up by someone else, or you're going to be forced to merge. And I see the same way right now with finances. Like, there's going to be a time in 10, 20 years from now where you're going to look back on the real Randy Chavez. They're going to look back on Dave Lee on investing. They're going to look back on Taps trades, and they're going to say, like, okay, these guys were doing this, this, and this. How do we model, like, old school companies that have so much red tape? There's never going to catch up to where back in the day, sure, they have a bunch of people that moving money behind the scenes talking about what they're doing, but now we have that. We have the power in all of our numbers. They did it with Wall Street bets. We're doing that. Like, they don't have the power anymore. We all have the power, as much money as they do, and we're as smart, if not smarter, than they are. Because we're doing this without college degrees. We're doing this without. I mean, I think Taps Trade's actually he's educated, but for the most of us, a lot of us are doing with this just based on what we see. I was successful not because I had a fancy degree. I was successful because of what I saw value in these other companies, and 9 to 11% a year. What are you thinking about, people? No, I am talking about I was getting 30% a year because I was investing in these high risk companies that banks wouldn't touch because they're high risk. But I was like, no, they're not. No, these are good quality American companies. This is what makes America great. And so being able to take some of those and put it into what I thought was best, like Tesla, I could either reinvest the profits and continue to make 30% a year, or I thought, like, okay, well, Tesla's going to make me much, much more than that. So I put into Tesla. I put into Pokemon cards, and that's how I retired at 30. That's how I did it. And what I continue to do, buying Bitcoin and buying OMI as often as I can because of the disruptive industry that it's doing. The type of innovation that it carries is insane. Sinox says, what I've learned from Chavez is to be more patient. Seem to be in no rush, and I think you're onto something there. Most people are in the position they're in now because of actions they did 5 years ago. For the most part, I do agree. Buy and hold. Like, what happened with Tesla? If you were to buy in late 2013 or early or like 2018, price is pretty similar. It didn't move that much for years. And then what happened? Shot to the freaking moon. It shot to the moon. Even in 2019, 2020, when the pandemic hit, I was cleaning up house and I was buying at 900 share, 700 share, 500 share, 400 a share before it went back up. And that was before the split. So, and then it goes like 2,500 share, it splits, and now it's at 500. Actually, it's at like 600 a share now. So split adjusted, it's at $3,000 a share, where I was buying at 900. I was buying at 400. So I was literally buying at 400. I was buying at it's 10x for me already, or almost 10x, like 8x, and I have 188 shares. I have over $100,000 in Tesla. I'm not selling it because I still think that's got the way to go. But so yes, you can be patient. OMI could potentially be like Tesla, where nothing happens for a little while and then it shoots off to the moon. But cryptocurrency doesn't move like that. Cryptocurrency moves very volatilely. I don't know if that's a word. It moves very, very volatile. And this is something where it might not take you 5 years. It might only take you 5 months. That's the rate in the world we live in right now. It's that you don't have to be patient for years anymore. If you find the right product, like let's say Earth 2, yeah, maybe that takes a couple years for that full game to reach fruition. But Bitcoin, that on average grows 200% every year. Why are people not putting their money? Like, people are insane. And I'm not saying like I'm literally risking my retirement by putting into Bitcoin, putting into OMI, because I see where the world is going. And people are stuck on these classic investing ways of getting 9 to 11% a year. That is garbage. That is garbage. Like that, I get it. Yes, have put in a certain max out your 401ks, and at the end of 30 years you can retire with $1 million. Yes, you can. You can be a millionaire that way, but that's so long. I telling you guys, a million OMI is not that hard to get. It's $2,000. Um, you can make that working at like whatever you're doing right now. If you're working 40 hours a week, you can make work part time at Stop and Shop, Target, 7. I don't care. And you buy OMI with every extra paycheck, buy Bitcoin with every extra paycheck. OMI's only going to stay this price, because same thing, for so long. Again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but you will never have to work those jobs again. Like again, class investing, you can be a millionaire by the time of 30 years of constantly maxing out your 401k. Like, no, be a millionaire in the next like 5 years. Be a millionaire in the next 10 years. Like, go and retire. Like, go. I'm I'm literally seeing some people that have a couple of million OMI right now. They'll be millionaires, and even people that only have, let's say, 500,000 OMI. Let's say you only $40,000. 500,000 OMI before the end of this decade, you'll be a millionaire. I think I think if it reaches $3 by the end of the decade, but even if it only reaches $2, okay, well, you're a millionaire. End of the decade, 10 years goes by in a quick. Guys, if you're 20 years old, it goes by very, very quick. Um, Chemist says people saying this is a scam, they are just skeptics. Honestly, they don't believe in the new generation movement. Yeah, I think a lot of the people that are saying it's a scam is people that don't understand it. People that are like old guard, they just like, oh, this, and I feel bad because they're not gonna, even if it exists alongside them, they're not gonna be able to see all like the beauty that it brings, and the people that come, and they're not gonna be able to see like all the friendships that it nurtures, and why I think people and the human race will be better because of it. So I do feel bad, and that's why, like I said, you gotta try to love those people. Keith Smith, I'm backing up the truck. What? Backing up the truck doing what? Doing what? What are you backing up the truck doing? Um, but yeah, backing up the truck. Oh, a truck of OMI? I don't know. Um, yeah, so moving on. Those chemists saying, yeah, the people that don't believe in the new generation, whether it's Earth 2 or whether it's Viva Collectibles, like I had this friend Miller, and we would fight all the time. He was like, "Yeah, Chavez, like you talking on your friend's Facebook, people that you're not really seeing. That's not a real friend. Real friend is someone you take out to a bar." And I was like, "No, like this is the way the world is moving, Miller." And I don't know if he still thinks that way, because the last time I talked to him, he was in Iraq, and we were talking on Skype. My friend Thompson. Um, yeah, and so I think now he knows a little bit better that the world is going virtual. The world is going this way, and people are making money so much quicker than they ever have before. And it's going to be hard. There's going to be some people, especially parents. Parents are guiltiest of this. Of them, again, they want the best for their kids, but oftentimes parents just don't understand the way the world is going. Like, and parents are the guilty ones saying like, no, go to college, go finish college, go do this. Like, what if they don't want to? What if they just want to code and they're really good at coding and they don't want to go to school for what you want them to go to school for? What if they just want to? God forbid your kids be happy. So that's like, if I advise to kids, like, don't take mommy and daddy's money. Go live. If you want to do something, go out and do it. Go out. If you're 20 years old, find five of you, go into one family house in Brooklyn, and just be gross, be smelly, and just work your jobs, and then do your side hustle. Be happy. Do what you want to do. Just don't take mom and dad's money, because the second you take mom and dad's money, they're going to dictate what you're going to do with your life. They're going to try to dictate. They're going to try to be a part of your life. And not saying they shouldn't, but they're going to want to dictate where it goes. Like, no, this is my life. I have to decide where this goes. For better or for worse. And if you try and you fail, okay, well, at least you tried. Like, if you tried, I would always tell younger people, Never go through life saying, I wish I would have. Go and try it. For young, if you're in the military like I was, if you have an assignment, you're able to go and take the assignment. Go and do a temporary duty. Go and do a short duty tour. Take the assignment. Just get the experience. Don't go through life saying you wish you would have. Definitely get that experience. Um, Jordan S says, "LOL." Cynox says, "I feel sorry for people who don't see the vision of OMI VV. That goes for some of my family and friends." All, yeah, and I mean also, but at the same time, if like I have some friends that just they don't really care about investing. They don't care about money. They just they're happy doing what they're doing. They're happy like oh if they have enough money for to pay the bills and they have like I have a couple friends I won't name them but they one friend's a tattoo artist and they have like a beer league like a beer darts league and they're happy and they go on a couple of vacations a year and they have cats and the most important thing is that people are happy. If you're happy, then I want you to be yeah, if you're happy, that's it. That's the main goal about life is to and it's different because back in the day it used to be okay, main goal of every species is to survive and then reproduce. But now it's okay, well let's be happy. Well, let's be happy with doing things and I like that. I'm very thankful to live in this time. Um but also I guess, to try to I don't want to say like we should convert people, but if I mean, even like parents, like my parents, they refuse to get Netflix. Like, no, they still watch cable television. It's like, who watches cable television anymore? Some people they like the old ways. Like, there's an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where they take some of Frank's Peter Boyle's his old like music and they like clean them up. Like they take the old school like stuff out of there and they clean them up. It sounds so great. It sounds so clean. And Ray thinks he's doing a great thing. It's like, look, Dad, like technology gets all these things without the old sounds in there. And his dad hates it. Why? Because he's so nostalgic for the old sounds. Like it just takes him back into a time. He doesn't care about it being neat or clean. It takes him back into an old time of when he could just sit around his record player with maybe a little bit of whiskey or whatever, and maybe it takes them back to that time where parents they just love I don't maybe they just love commercials or they love ads. I will pay whatever I have to not see an ad. That's what I like. YouTube Red, I pay for that so I don't see ads on YouTube. Same just because I don't want to see them. I just want the content. Um, yeah. So, but some people. Oh, I've been going for 3.5 hours now. I should. It's my back is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna go back over there and then, you know. Oof. Yep. I know. Only 12%. 12% battery here. Um. Oh god. So my battery life is gonna go quick. Because I'm off the charger now. So I'm gonna have to go soon. But this has been a very fantastic 3.5 hour podcast, I guess. Hondra Extreme says, my plan was to earn 20K and then make myself self-employed. Then I got 20K and bought crypto instead and a car. Okay, so you got 20K and you bought crypto. Good. Yeah, so I like that like people are passing their financial goals like that like they've never seen before. Like it's incredible what people are doing with crypto and I can't wait to help keep them doing it. I at some point, maybe 5 years down the road, there will be another investment like this. Like again, every year I get lucky and I see it. I saw it with high risk funding. I saw it with Tesla. I saw it with Pokemon cards. I saw it with Earth 2. Saw it with OMI. And I guarantee you in 5 years there's going to be one or two other things. Like, hey guys, take some of those profits. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. Honda Extreme says, my plan was to earn 20. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Did I buy more OMI? I have 9.5 million OMI right now. And when I sell that Trophy Kangaskhan, I'll sell it for 250. I'm gonna have the word go out. I'm gonna sell it for 250,000 because just to get OMI at this price, I don't care. I'll just so I can get $125,000 worth of OMI at this price, so I can get 40, 50 million, 60 million OMI. Because that will make me a decamillionaire and possibly 100 millionaire in the future. Oh, guys, I've been going for 3.5 hours. I have to go. Thank you guys for the super chats. For the 998 there. Comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. This has been great. I love you all. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow. And I'm only stopping because my battery